Hey, YouTube or Facebook. Never mind.
Oh,
Okay, too.
cool.
Okay. Are we missing people? We are.
Was it? Nail it button.
Will Candace be here?
No, Candace can't make it today. I also know that Usman is running a little bit late, and he said he'll be here like 10 to 15 minutes late. So
Okay.
I think we're also, yeah, and then I think we're also missing
Jersey?
Naila Benet right now.
I'm gonna be on jury duty January 20th. That's gonna be fun.
I was getting out of that. I don't feel like because I'm still registered in my hometown, which is 2 hours away, and they wanted me to do jury duty, and I wasn't about to do that.
Okay. We're still missing a few people, but I guess we'll just get started so we can finish on time, or at least try to. Okay, I call this meeting into order at 5:31 p.m. I recognize that Amina, Aya, Devin, Fiona, Imani, Mahira, Rahman, and me are present, as well as our ex officio members, Tori, as well as Marshad. And our FYA, Maria. Okay. I'm just gonna scroll through the agenda. It's a bit of a long one. If you see any mistakes or anything, just let me know, but I'll be asking for any motions on the floor.
I move to approve the agenda for tonight.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we approve the agenda for tonight. Moving on to the meeting minutes.
I move to approve the meeting minutes for November 30th, 2021.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we approve the meeting minutes for November 30th, 2021. Okay. Moving to the first thing on our agenda, we have a presentation by Aya and Marshad about budget stuff. And we also have a piece of legislation that goes along with it. So do y'all need like screen? Do you need to like, I don't know. Do you need me to like stop sharing my screen?
Is Marshad here right now or no?
He is.
I'm here, but I'm driving. Can you share your screen, Aya?
Yeah, okay. Give me
Thank
one
you.
second. Let me just get it up. Sorry, lads, I have to find it. I lost it. Found it. Okay. Cool. Does everybody see my screen? Yes?
Yeah,
I guess
we can see.
And we can
Alright.
see it.
Okay, so this is our student activity fee increase proposal for the fiscal year of 2024. If you want, I don't think you'd care. There's a QR code to like the documents for this. So what is our entire proposal about? The student activity fee covers the cost of various student activities and things that SGA does. It's where majority of our budget comes from. Currently, our student activity fee is at $104, and it has not increased since fiscal year 2015. So that is a very long time. And our budget funds a lot of things, but mainly 3 charter organizations, which is SCB, SGA, and the Retriever Weekly, amongst other things, but you know, the huge things. So this entire proposal is that we're requesting a $4, which is a 3.85% increase in the amount of the student activities fee. On this thing, we can see like it's our budgeted expenses and the projected ones for the following years. On the very left is the 2022, fiscal year 2022 budget that we have. And then in the middle, it's our fiscal year 2023. It's not a finalized amount, but when we were making our proposal, we had to like put in the 2023 one. And this is just the amount that we have when we expect to move everything back to pre-pandemic levels, like our spending and stuff like that. And then for our fiscal year of 2024, which is this is calculated with the 3%, which was 3.85% increase in the student activity fee, the $4 increase. This is the amount that we get total in the end. What is the point of this? Is that we see, sorry, I keep saying we have like an increase in projected spending than we had in our previous years this year, and we expect to have more because we have more students, and we're doing more events and everything of the sort. So how we calculated this was most consistent budgetary line items. We just in our Excel document, we increased them by 3%. And then other variable budgetary line items that increase at their own independent rates just stayed at their independent increasing rates. Like if it was like a biannual increase of $15 or something of the sort. Mainly like that, yeah. And we also want to do this so that we can reevaluate where our money is going and all of these sort of things. Cool. Cool. All right, and this thing right here shows us where 60% of our budget goes to, which is our organizational allocations. First one, and on the slide, I show you both fiscal year 2022, the one we're using now, and fiscal year 2024 with the projected like 3% increase. So we have like SEB, and then we have the Retriever Weekly, and then the club budgets. These are the amounts, numbers. And then on this slide, we show our university co-sponsorships. These didn't increase by the 3%. These were at their own independent things. Either they were just set as a contract to be like whatever they are, they stay as they are, or they increased at their own levels. Oh my God, look, it's a picture of everything SGA does. What? I'd want to fund that. All right, any questions? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, is there like a chat? She's on jury duty. I don't know who's on jury duty.
If y'all have questions, just raise your hand.
Oh,
Or,
I
like,
think we have
say
to
me in the
motion to
chat
enter a
or
period of
something.
discussion for questions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect.
All right, I motion to enter a period of discussion.
Seconds? Objections? Hearing seeing no objections, you entered a period of discussion about the budget that was just proposed. If there are any thoughts, just say me in the chat and I can call on you.
Can I say something? Say something.
Oh, do you want me to call on you, Aya?
Yeah. Am I supposed to be called on because I'm presenting? I don't know.
I don't know. It's up to you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that we presented this to Senate yesterday and it passed through them. But I think like majority of the thing that's like concerns that Senate had was that a lot of people were like, oh, we didn't know that we needed an increase. Because a lot of people, I don't know if everybody knows this, but SGA tapped into the reserves during like the pandemic and because of it. And you're not really supposed to tap into your reserves. And they thought that was like normal spending, but it's not. And that's why we were like, because of what that happened with the pandemic and how we want to return back to normal, we do need an increase. We haven't done it in a really long time and we expect to make more events and the price of things are just going to go up even if we like stay stagnant with the amount that we have. And I don't want it to be that like we come across like a time where we just can't fund things anymore. So that. Okay.
Wait, just one point of clarification. We're not increasing to build back up our reserves.
We're not.
Although our reserves are pretty depleted, we are just increasing to stay in line with inflation and the mandatory increases and the growing demands of our organization.
Imani, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. Definitely COVID has messed up a lot of stuff for everybody. I think my only question is, so once we do this 3.85% increase, would this be a permanent? This would be a permanent like increase to the budgetary plan from here on out?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was the question?
This would be a permanent like increase. Like after we increase it to minus 3%, it's be just a flat line. This is how much we're doing it now.
Yeah, because the amount, if I go back, it's 104 right now. So we just don't increase it $4. It just go up to 108.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too like students start. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem too erratic. Like $4 is not that
Yeah.
bad, especially since you technically don't really even see it. It's included in your like your tuition. So I think it's a pretty good, reasonable ask.
Thank you.
Are there any other thoughts? If not, we can go into voting procedure and I
Oh,
can,
Yara said me.
oh, go ahead, Mayra.
Do you have a slide? I don't know if I missed it, but a slide where like how much is allocated to each like SEB, but like with the new increase?
Yeah, it was this one.
Mhm.
It'd be like 310,000, whatever. And that's with the increase. And these are also like these amounts are projected with the increase and are expected like return in 2023 to pre-pandemic levels. And like we make that assumption for the pre-pandemic levels in 2023 because we expect that we'll get more student, what was the word, Marshad? We'll just get more students, I guess, being enrolled. And so because of that, we're like, oh, we'll have more money. So we can return to pre-pandemic levels because we'll be doing the things that we did before we were online and virtual.
And just one thing to add to that, if we increase it this year, we are the only fee that the increase won't go into effect until 2 years after the year that it was increased. So we're pretty much going to struggle next year, but it's okay because we'll pick it back up on 24.
I need to enter into a period of voting.
Okay, are there any seconds?
A second.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, you've entered a period of voting. Aya, could you unshare your screen? I'm gonna reshare mine.
All right. I abstained from voting, right?
I
have to
mean, you
abstain.
can, I guess, like,
Because I made the
maybe.
proposal.
I mean, it's an informed decision. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you if you feel like it.
Corey, do you have any? Yeah, I have to abstain. Yeah. All right. Flag.
Okay. Oh my God, I do not like WebEx. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, all the stuff that's written in this is pretty much what was covered, but if you think that the student activity fee like it should be raised, then I guess say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay in the chat and I can tally up the number of financial people who say that. I think we're still waiting on 3 people. Oh yeah, in the presentation it did say 2015 and in the legislation it says 2018.
I think someone should make a motion to amend that. Can they even do that?
Wait, no, we got to fix the presentation. I think it was 2018.
It was 2018? Okay,
Yes.
so that's fine then. That's on me, y'all.
Am I missing anyone? I feel like I'm missing one person. Oh no, Usman's not here. Okay, got it. So yeah, it's 6, 4, 0 opposed, 2 abstaining, 1 not present, and 12, 7, 2021. Okay, perfect. Yay, we did it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cool. Okay, bye-bye. Moving on to our next item on the agenda. So for context here, we're gonna, is my camera on or is it off? Oh, it's off. Interesting. Okay. For context here, for the next few items, they're all semesterly budget requests, but they all don't have documentation, and it's kind of hard for us to fund anything without documentation. So the idea is that we would most probably end up tabling all these requests permanently because they just don't have the supplemental information that we need. So hopefully this isn't too long of a process, but if we want to have a period of discussion on it, we could do that. But there's much to be discussed. So if we want to just skip through it and then permanently table, that would also be fine, if that's okay, or if that's okay with Tori.
So not all of these are in that order. So like some of them have submitted stuff and that they're you have to look at each one individually. But I think in that like period of discussion, I'm fine with noting if they're ones that never turned in what's it called, documentation, or they never met with Matt or something like that. But yeah, you do have to technically table each one of them.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Okay. Are there any motions on the floor? House want to enter a period of discussion?
I moved into a period of discussion.
Seconds?
I seconded.
Perfect. Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. Okay. So I think, Imani, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if it's just my side, but on my side, I can only see the 12 reports, and then I have the one Shasta. I can't see all of them that you have on the agenda for today.
Okay. I guess we can, it's kind of hard to go through right now and do it, but as we're going through them, if I find there are ones in TST, then I can ask Tori to move it over real quick.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Any thoughts on this application? Imani, go ahead.
To me, the rock climbing application seemed just like a spring break trip they wanted us to fund. It wasn't really a competition, or it wasn't like a competition or a conference. They just wanted to go mountain climbing.
It's the other.
Is this the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one of those that we want to look at first before we decide on funding or not funding all of them together.
Where are we at in the funding budget? Just to clarify how much money we have left for the other.
You've only technically voted on one for $50. You from what is still in there, you'll need to cut $318.75 from what's potentially left.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? I would encourage us to have opinions so we can get through these requests. $950.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Didn't these people submitted documentation, right?
Yes, they did.
Are we just in our period of discussion?
Yes.
I mean, if the documentation is fine, could we, if everybody's like, nobody has opinions on it, could we go to voting? What are the org estimates travel estimate?
I would recommend not voting until you look at all of the others because you're going to have to make cuts from that pot in general. And if you want to fund all of the other things that are in other, you're going to potentially have to make a cut from this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, smart.
This
Sorry.
is,
But
yeah. I also want to note they're asking under what we could consider them at for certain things. On the application, they're only asking for $950. I know they have listed a lot more than that in total cost, but they're not asking for the food for you all. I'm going to be honest, their driving estimate is definitely much lower than it's going to be. And then the Airbnb is apparently like $3,000, but they're only asking for like $800.
So they're asking for, or they're not asking for, but their per student charge is $250. So I'm guessing they're trying to fund most of it with the people who are going. That's why they're not asking us for that much.
hi, I just have one question, sort of clarification.
Mhm.
So we're making the official votes on all of them at the very end?
Yeah, I guess the point of having a discussion right now is just to like have an idea, like clarify everything for ourselves so we're not like confused on wait, what are they asking when we actually have to go through and make cuts.
So that means that after we finish this, we just move on to the next one and we stay in a period of discussion this entire time?
We just move to table it for temporarily and then we would move on to the next one.
Okay.
You'll probably have to edit the agenda at the end to be like to revisit other and then do the voting on the 3.
Okay.
Here, go ahead.
I think it's pretty clear, but in the end, I guess if we have to like cut, I guess it doesn't really matter where we cut from, because like they're still gonna have to cover some cost. So I guess that would be like the only thing I would say.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Any other thoughts? We generally agree. Are there any motions on the floor maybe to table? Okay, perfect. Seconds?
I second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've temporarily tabled this request for later in this meeting. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next thing. It's 6:45. Okay, this is not. Tori, go ahead.
This is Nepali Student Association. They were looking to do a large scale event. And they did not meet with ECS in time. Well, 30 people, but they have ECS requests with no documentation. I's team has reached out to them multiple times, and they were over the amount that they were allowed to be funded in general. They met with Matt late after the deadline.
Mahira, go ahead.
So this is off camp. Oh no, this is on campus, right?
It's on campus.
Oh, never mind.
They wanted to hold it in Skylight.
Okay, I don't think. Since there's so much wrong, I wouldn't fund.
Yeah, it's honestly not possible to, but yeah. Go ahead.
So, okay, for this one, because it's like Sahas and everything, would we say move to table indefinitely, or would we just vote on not funding this one?
You would just table it indefinitely because they never got back to you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
If we're all on the same page about that, then
Yeah. If we're on the same page, would everybody be fine if I make a motion to vote? Or do we have to vote, or do we have to do?
just table indefinitely.
Okay, I second Mahira.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've tabled this request indefinitely. Okay, easy stuff. So far at least. I have curl power. I'm not wrong again. I feel like it's the same. No documentation situation.
Pretty positive. Which one is it? 714?
663.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I move to table this one indefinitely?
Yeah, I'd say go for it.
I move to table it indefinitely. Mahira seconded it.
Perfect. It's just gonna be y'all too, just switching back and forth. Any objections?
No.
Perfect. It has been tabled indefinitely. Now we're in the stilettos. 670 is the FPBR.
This was the same.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing too.
Can I make two motions in a row or no?
I think the problem was with theirs was that they submitted the wrong documentation for the wrong semester, and then they initially responded to you all, but then never did again.
Yeah.
Let me double check in my email.
I don't think they ever responded. I'm looking at the email right now because Jonathan sent it out initially, and then he sent out another, and I sent so many to them, and they never responded.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Second. Motion.
Y'all are just switching off. Okay. Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've tabled this request indefinitely. Moving to Pakistani Student Association. What am I doing?
671.
This is 671.
This one is for the rack, and they never requested it. You can't do stuff in the rack.
Yeah. So I think this one can also be tabled because there's nothing we can do.
Yep.
So I move to table it indefinitely. And here I seconded it.
Perfect. Any objections? You're seeing no objections. We've tabled, there it is. We've tabled this request indefinitely as well. Let's see. Cancer Awareness Society. I believe they were also reached out to, and they haven't met with ECS.
I think they did meet. Oh, they replied back to me, but yeah, they didn't meet with ECS.
Yeah, they said that they weren't able to in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I moved to table this one indefinitely as well. Mahira seconded it.
Perfect. Okay. Hindu Student Council. I believe they just didn't respond, if I'm not wrong.
They never responded. Yep, they didn't respond either.
Was it for this one, Mahira?
Yeah, I second it.
Okay, cool. Second. Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, you've tabled this indefinitely as well. Now we're at Sasa. They I believe they did respond, but again, they responded too late. with like, no documentation.
7 and 3. They responded. Hold on. Oh yeah, they couldn't move their venue off campus before the deadline. So I move to table this one indefinitely as well.
Perfect, me here.
Oh,
Oh my God,
Yes,
Imani
man.
is competing. Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, nope, we're not entering anything. We have tabled this request indefinitely. Now we're on curl power again. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure it's not the same FBBR. Yeah, it's not. Okay.
Should be 7:14.
Yep.
Yep, she never responded to this either. So I move to table. Oh, I'm second.
Perfect. Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've tabled this indefinitely as well. Now we're League of Legends. We actually heard this earlier, and I reached out to them, and I'm like 99% sure I did not hear anything back. Let me just check once more. But I didn't hear anything back from them. Yeah, I didn't hear anything back. Yeah, they didn't have documentation.
Oh, they said
Sorry.
they asked to. This is 6:37, right?
Yep.
But this was like in November 2nd, so I don't. Okay. They were like, would it be possible to consider the rest of the non-ECS fees for funding if I do not get documentation?
Wait, I'm gonna forward.
The issue with that was that it's for a lecture hall. So technically no, because it was food, and I think there should have been an email to them asking if they were consider switching rooms.
Thanks. So hold up. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Did I just get an email?
They didn't have any
yeah.
documentation too, so. Oh, hi, Candace. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you all can decide whether or not you want to table it, even if they're asking to just have their food kits. Like, you all could be like, no, we're not doing that, right? So just because they're asking for something doesn't mean you have to give it to them.
Oh, so this one we can just vote no. I think I'd rather just table this one, because then we have like a precedent for if they had food, they like did that and they just didn't. I don't know. I feel like what we're doing today is whoever just did not respond with documentation is just getting tabled. Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense. Just so we have some uniformity of what we do.
Yeah. All right, so I move to table this one indefinitely as well. I'm here a second. Oh my
I'm not
God.
trying to cut the chase. Okay. Okay, perfect. This request has also been tabled indefinitely. We're a Japanese Student Association. I have it copied and pasted. Okay, so I believe same idea here, but I'm checking also. 625.
Yep, no replies. Wait. They didn't have any documentation from ECS.
They also never met with ECS in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Seconds.
Second.
Okay. We got through this. We got through them. Yay. Okay. So now, Tori, go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
I noticed that Association of Black Artists was just crossed out entirely, but I don't think we ever actually voted one way or the other, decided to table them from last week. Unless someone remembers differently, I just am blanking on what we decided with them, so I can make sure we have a note about that.
Let me pull up the agenda and see if I can find the legislation. Yeah, we voted against.
Okay, thank you. I just needed that for records.
Perfect. Let me just sign it so I'll forget eventually. Okay, so our next request is Bartleby. I believe we do have a representative here with us from Bartleby.
Hello? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Give me 1 second, I'll pull up your request. Could you go ahead and just introduce yourself real quick? Again, a little bit of context for finance board members. We saw this request last week, and our biggest concern, or not concern, but our biggest question was what is the per unit price for the journals that Bartleby was ordering, and what number of units do they need for the $3,000 amount to make sure that it's under our total on-campus per person cost. So I was able to get a bit of clarification from Bartleby, and I figured out that they're requesting 500 journals, which ends up being $6 per journal. So that's under our $33 max per person request for on-campus. Okay, that was a bit of a rant, but could you go on and just introduce yourself real quick? Probably just like name, pronouns, position in Bartleby, as well as just a little bit about your journals, just for a little bit of context.
Yes, hello. My name is Simon Odenwald. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the senior managing editor of Bartleby. What our journal is it's a collection, a yearly collection of UMBC students' poetry, fiction, creative nonfiction, and visual artwork. Every year we publish a physical journal of all the pieces that were accepted. Like we mentioned before, we usually get about 500 journals, which come to about 6 per piece, at least with the SGA budget. It's also been, at least for Bartleby, it's also been a while since we've had our last printed books, the last ones being from 2020, so right around when the pandemic was. And we're trying to get back into the swing of things with requesting for our newest journal to be printed so we can start at least trying to get back to as normal as we can get.
Okay, perfect. Are there any motions to enter a period of discussion for finance board members?
I move to enter a period of discussion.
Second.
Ooh.
Not you beating me here. Okay, perfect. Are there any objections? Hearing seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. Just a little bit of clarification. We're just in a period of discussion to kind of just discuss what finance board members have seen in the application, just so we all have the conversation, we're all on the same page before we end up voting on it. Okay. Any thoughts, guys? Just say me in the chat. Imani, go ahead.
If I could remember correctly from the last meeting, didn't we just need how many books they wanted to like get out? We just needed the correct unit number.
Exactly. Yep, that's all we needed, and we got that. So.
And I think we're fine. I didn't hear the unit number. Can someone, did you tell me what it was?
Yes. I believe they also covered it, but it was $3,000, and it's $6 per journal, which ends up being 500 journals.
Okay. So I think we should fund it. Since they gave us what we needed.
Any other thoughts or ideas? If not, are there any motions on the floor? It's on campus now, yeah. Yes, it would be 500 copies. So I'm just gonna, where did my cursor go? There. 500 copies for $6. Hi, Usman. Each. Yep, 3K. So the math works out in that end. Any seconds? Aya, where's your second? Perfect, thanks, Usman.
I was gonna second it, but I was still thinking about what I thought for this application. I don't want to second it if I wasn't sure.
Okay. Do we need to go into more clarification, or are you good?
So wait, yeah, actually, just
So
even though wait, the motion to go voting is already in. So actually, just ignore me. Ignore me. Just go to voting.
If you have questions, then just put it in the chat, and I can try answering them.
I
Um,
just wanted like a clarification of what we are voting for.
for the journals that they're
Like 3,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna change that real quick. But if we think the request should be funded for the $3,000 that Bartleby is requesting, then say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay in the chat. My computer is gonna die. Oh my God. Is that all of us? Okay. I see 8. That looks like the right number. Okay. 8 for, 0, nope, 0 opposed, 1 abstaining, 0 not present. And congratulations. Thank you so much for coming in. Your request has been fully funded.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, perfect. Moving on to our next request. It's Black Men's Society. I guess we should probably table this again, or maybe move it on the agenda till the end. I did not think about that. Okay. Are there any motions to amend the agenda?
I motion to amend the agenda and
I
move it.
second.
Okay, perfect. I guess you have to like specify what you're amending it to.
No, we're just moving it to the end, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll
Okay.
move it to the end.
see. There. Okay. Now we're at Pakistani Student Association. Are there any representatives here? Wait, are you the representative?
I'm not. I wish I could be. So Riva told me that she can make it around. Riva's the president. She can make it around like 6:50 or like 7. And that was partially our fault because they didn't receive notification until today. So and besides, on my email, I kind of made note that they won't be heard until like around 6:40 because we had so much to cover. So is there any way we can come back to this request or?
Yes, we can move it to later in the agenda. So are there any motions
Sounds
to amend
good.
the agenda again?
I move to amend the agenda.
Second.
Perfect. Objections? Yeah, we told her 6:45, but also like I didn't expect to get through the first half that fast. I did not know how long it would take, so it was kind of hard to guesstimate. Yeah, the timing of this is like kind of off. So if possible, because I'm realizing that we don't have as many as I think we have, but also the ones that would take longer are the ones that we should probably try to get in here earlier. Oh, okay, Riva, perfect. Okay. I guess we can backtrack a little bit.
I motion to move it back to right now and review it.
Okay, perfect. Seconds? Where'd it go?
Here, seconded it.
Objections? Here, seeing no objections, we can move the agenda back to what it was. Okay, Ramon. I'm going to open up the request real quick. Riva, could you just go ahead and introduce yourself again? We've heard a lot from you, but real quick, and again about the event, and we can go into discussion after that.
Okay, so hi, my name is Riva. I'm president of PAXA. This event, I believe it should be the John Roth event that was tabled from last week.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just going to be a Eid celebration for our JBM members, essentially. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Are there any motions on the floor?
I move to enter into a period of discussion.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. So a little bit of context for Candace, go ahead. Candace?
You can give your context. I'll go after that.
Perfect. I like starting everything by saying a little bit of context, apparently. But so we were able to reach out to so I guess the biggest problem that existed last meeting was that the request or the ECS fees were given over the period of 3 days. So we were able to contact ECS again and ask for a quote if the event was just held over 1 day, and it was requested for 3 days because you couldn't exactly predict what the day the event is going to be held is. So because of that, we were able to go back and say if it was only held on 1 day, what would be the one night's price, and we were able to get that amount from ECS. And if I find it real quick, I'll be able to share it on the screen. But Candace, go ahead.
So this is a question for Riva. So when you were introducing your request, you shared something about this being an event for your general body members. Is that correct?
I mean, it's open to like, not necessarily just I just said like general body members, but it's open to essentially like any UMBC student who wants to attend. It's not like only our general body members. I was just like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. And then I have a follow-up, if the chair allows.
Yes, go ahead.
So did you all have an event this past weekend?
Yes, we did.
Okay. How did that event go?
It went well. Yeah, we had I think we had most people turn out. I think only like 5 tickets didn't attend. But yeah, overall it went really well.
That's great. And I'd be interested to know how you all enforced COVID protocols at that event, given the rising COVID cases, and then information that came out from the provost.
I mean, given like we did as our board, like we did our best to like encourage people to like put on their mask like once they were done eating, and like for board, like we made sure we had our masks on and trying to like get people to put them on. Like I went on the mic a couple times being like, hey everyone, like put your mask on, stuff like that.
Did you feel
and
like
I know
did you feel like it was hard?
it was like, it's I think difficult with given like the number of people regardless, and like I don't know how seriously everyone takes COVID. Obviously, like for our board, like we wanted to make sure people were safe, but I think the personal responsibility of a lot of people also is like whether or not they're willing to listen or not. Like I don't know if we can control that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think so. I named this because you're asking for funding for another larger event, right? Or another event where you're going to have people, there's going to be food, it's in the same space, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as we continue through this semester and next semester, right there, I hear what you're saying around personal responsibility. And I would challenge you with the concept of, as event holders and as club board members, it's your responsibility to ensure that people who are at your events are able to attend them in a COVID safe environment. And that if you are unable to do that, or you are struggling to do that, I'm curious as to what would be different for this event that you're asking for money for versus your last weekend's event, and how you might go about working to ensure that the event is COVID safe for all those that are in attendance. So that's really my question: is what would you do differently, or how will you sort of course correct from last weekend when you named, when prompted, that it was sort of hard to make sure that people were in COVID compliance. How are you going to course correct for this upcoming event?
So I think definitely it was hard, given that it was like our first big event that like we as a board have thrown at all. So it was like a lot going on with it too that we were trying to take care of as board. But I think now that we know like how these events go, what everything goes into it, I think for next time we're definitely going to be having like one of the allotted responsibilities for a board member to take care of is to like be on basically COVID duty. So they will be responsible, because all of our board members had like certain tasks that they were delegated to do, but no one had like that given task to like make sure that people were wearing masks. It was just like a reminder that was periodically given. So I think next time I will definitely make sure that a board member is given the responsibility that if they see someone who is not eating food, not drinking, that is unmasked, that they make sure to personally like go up, rather than giving a public announcement. I think going up to an individual and asking them will be more effective in having them comply with the COVID regulations, rather than just like giving a broad overarching announcement to people that maybe not everyone will necessarily listen to because they have that anonymity. But like if we go to them personally, having one board member do that, they will probably are going to be more likely to listen to us and comply.
Okay. Did you feel like people were willing to comply, or they were unwilling to comply, or I'm just interested, to know like how people responded, and then how you manage people who are they're what's the word I'm looking for, not argumentative, but like they are
Receptive.
they're not non-receptive, right, to the basically the social contract, right, that we have all entered into as UMBC community members to protect ourselves and everyone else. And this event is it in March?
Yes.
Does it butt up right against spring break?
I think it's before spring break. I feel like it's like March 3rd or something.
Wait, I'm pretty sure it's
so like
first.
it's May. Never mind. I was thinking of another event.
May.
So either way, right? So I think about the things that I think about are like, we have personal responsibility, then we have responsibility to our communities, the smaller communities we're in, and then the larger communities that we're a part of, right? And so as we, for this event in particular, I think about, and this past event, right? Like, you're coming up onto finals and you want people to be healthy. And then those people are also going home, right? And so then if they are engaging in behaviors that are not necessarily COVID safe, they are endangering themselves, their classmates, and their homes. And that for me is sort of like, you get to do what you want to do as a person, right? Like you want to go jump off the bungee jump or whatever, sure, cool. But when you start endangering those sort of circles, right, around you, that's sort of where I get to wondering. So I guess the other question I have is like, how would you handle or manage students who are unreceptive and are non-compliant with the masking guidelines and policies that we all have to follow?
I feel like
and then I will yield my time.
I think it's difficult given that, because I feel like people will comply for, like if they hear you like, oh, they'll put it on for like a moment, and then like a couple minutes later they'll take it off again. Usually it's something like that. It's not like someone's going to like just blatantly not listen to you at all. But given that, I think I don't like saying this because I don't want to be the person to like kick people out of events due to like non-compliance. But if it gets to be like, they've been given warnings and they're still not complying, like as unfortunate as it sounds, and we don't want to be that person or like that organization that is not letting like people stay at their events, like the personal safety of UMBC students is obviously more important than this one person's non-compliance to wear a mask, right? So if the situation arises where a student just is just resisting to it, in that scenario, I think it is valid to go ahead and, after giving them warnings, have them removed from the event.
Thank you. And I would encourage you to it's okay to be that group. It's okay to be the group that says we understand the severity of this. We are socially responsible. We want to be able to hold events, and you're endangering us from being able to hold events, and so you got to go. Like that's okay, because like you said, the health and safety of the greater community is much more important than, say, someone who says this mask is fogging my glasses and I don't want to wear it, or I got a pimple and it hurts my ears, or something. You're saying all the right things. I would encourage you to sort of be able to feel firm and confident in that, and say it's okay to be the people who says this is the line that we draw. Because we want to be able to do these things. We want to be able to continue to do these things, and we want to be able to continue to do them safely. So now I yield my time.
Thanks for that, Candace. That's an important discussion to have. For the other finance board members, are there any thoughts? Okay, wait, before we get into that, here is the updated request from ECS. Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about what was being requested and totals. Just as a reminder for this contract that or not the contract, but the ECS fees that we're looking right in front of us right now, $750 does have to be removed from that because no contracts were requested in the initial document. So that's $823 for ECS that's actually being requested. And I have to do math again, or I think it's 873 actually, which is more than what they actually requested for, but
The math like I did it last time, so don't do that.
I'm doing math correctly, don't worry. So the total that they're asking for is 2123, and the max that can be funded based on how many students? 55, if I'm thinking correctly.
1815.
1815?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the max that can be funded. So their cuts need to be made to this request, is basically what I'm saying.
Okay, so Riva, I'm just gonna type it out in the chat so it's just not numbers thrown at you. It's 873 for ECS, and the total amount that we can fund is 1815. So I guess right now the most like productive. Oh, that was okay. Oops, I did not do that correctly. Okay, there. Okay, so what we need to work on so that we can get this passed, or for you to work on so it gets passed, is that you need to figure out, of the less than $100 left over, like where do you want to allocate these funds? And I can pull up the request real quick if that helps in terms of line items.
Yeah.
942 to split, I guess, in whatever way you want, but
So I actually have a question. What is food included in this? Because I see in the ECS form that Matt just sent, it doesn't have our food included, but in our original budget, I think we asked for like 1,000 or something.
so looking at the one, Oh, it's not here anymore. Okay, JK. Yeah, I have no clue. I'm sorry, but it's not included right now in the thing. Oh yeah, Tori, go ahead.
So food is not included in your ECS fees. That's not something that's really ever counted in ECS fees. So
Okay,
that
gotcha.
873 is just for ECS to be able to do the event as you would like to do it. So
Okay.
that other 942 would have to be split between the other about 1,300 you're requesting, and that 1,300 includes food, dining ware, and decorations. And then like $10 for supplies. So 1,310.
Okay. So basically we need to make cuts from other places in our budget.
Yeah, the only like 4 places that I see that you could make cuts is supplies, decorations, dining ware, and food and drink. So if there's a certain amount that you guys want to include with those, then that would be something that we could consider.
Okay, yeah. I mean, food is like the most important, so I wouldn't want to touch that.
Unfortunately, that's $1,000 though, so
You said what?
it's $1,000, so it has to be a total. The amount that we can fund from here is 942. So if you want to
Okay.
put all the money towards food and drink, then that's a possibility. But if you want to split it up any more, then that's where the discussion comes in.
Okay. So I mean, we can just, yeah, we can put it all towards just food.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's 942 towards food and drink, and yeah, that should be it.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, and we followed Candace's recommendation. Perfect. Okay, and if you ever need to switch up the line items, there's always a reallocation form, but I guess it makes sense for what you're going towards. So I'm gonna write it down here. Perfect. Okay. Are there any other thoughts from finance board members or anything else? Not, are there any motions on the floor?
I move to enter into security.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of voting. If you want to fund Pax's event for a total of 1815, say aye in the chat. If not, say nay in the chat, and I can tally up the responses. I think we're waiting on 3 more people. 2 more. Devin and Usman, I'm pretty sure. Okay, perfect. So that's 8-4, 0, okay, 0 opposed, 1 abstaining, 0 not present. And the date is 12/07/2021. And congratulations. Thank you so much for coming in. And
Thank you.
yeah, have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Let us see. What time is it? Are we running somewhat on schedule? I do not know. Okay. Rahman, do you remember when you put CSA for? Oh, before we do that, are there any representatives for CSA here with us?
Checking right now, actually.
If there are no representatives with us, and if we're
So no one responded, so I don't think anyone is coming.
okay, no problem. So okay, so y'all might be wondering why is a merchandise and marketing fund request here, but they recently just got back to us about a logo. So we'd initially seen this, I believe, and Oh, maybe I made two requests for the same thing. Okay. Interesting. I will deal with that later. But they initially requested merchandise and they did not have a logo associated with it, and we need a logo to review and to fund. So they reached out to us recently, and they were able to provide the logo so we can look at it. It is not. Okay, it was not added here. Okay, while I look for this, are there any motions on the floor? There.
To enter into a period of discussion.
Any seconds?
Second.
Perfect. Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. Okay, so I actually do think I made a legislation for this, and I just did not remember. Are there any thoughts while I try to look for this? God, there's so many tabs. Anyone? Okay, so the idea is that they requested this a long time ago, but they didn't get back to us with an actual logo because they requested a bunch of stuff and they had itemized lists, but they didn't say what logo they were going to use, and we just got the logo image, so now we can consider it. Oh, maybe it didn't. Interesting. Okay.
I don't think it was ever actually on an agenda because we didn't have all of the stuff we needed for it.
Okay. I think I just discussed it with someone else then. That's why I feel so familiar. Okay. Going back to the request. So they're asking for $299.20, and as a refresher, we can fund up to $300 for merchandise, or yeah, whatever this is. So I guess there's like a question that comes up on what's the difference between merchandise and marketing, and that is a conversation that we could have based on this, or we could fund everything as counting as merchandise because there's specific rules towards what can be funded, or there's specific rules to how old a club can be to fund marketing requests. So on that note, are there any thoughts or questions or anything? Candace, I feel like it was on an agenda, but I think we just had a really detailed conversation about it and it wasn't on the agenda.
I mean, I feel like we talked about it in the meeting.
Did we actually? Like, I can't find the legislation. That's why I'm so confused.
I really don't think we did because this was one that we talked about in the finance board prep meeting a lot,
Maybe.
but we never did because it was one of like 5 groups that TST kept reaching out to for marketing and merchandise.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, I just feel like I remember we Candace had a one-on-one. We talked about it for like almost an hour. Yeah. Okay. Imani, go ahead.
So just to clarify, so with merchandise, what you said we're looking at this as merchandise, do we not have, is the logo not on the, that's the logo? Okay, well, I mean, I'm trying to remember how we decided on logos. I think it's in compliance with the way UBC logo can be. Yeah, the logo is good. And so are we just supposed to take into consideration that the 3 items that they put on their Sahas request is the only thing that's going to be on there is that logo?
4 things, but yeah. Yeah, basically that's it. They're asking us for the correct amount. The only reason that we could question their request, in my opinion, and I guess also speaking for you, Candace, we had this conversation, but it's just the differentiation between what actually counts as marketing, because the idea as marketing is to like advertise and to show to get people to join versus like, merchandise, which is like, so you could argue that certain items of these could be considered more merchandise than marketing and stuff like that. So
Yeah, because they look mostly like giveaway items. The items that they have listed. So I guess that would be considered. I'm not sure.
right. I don't know if this is just like me and like my thoughts, but I was just thinking that like if items can be like worn, I feel like it's more merchandise because you buy merch to wear merch or to have merch, but I feel like some items could be considered not merch. So
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but they also have this tote bag.
So I feel like tote bags, you could be like you wear a tote bag, right? Like you carry a tote. I don't know. This is like a really, really, really fine
It's
line.
more like it's more like of an accessory than the actual. Oh, I wear this to go outside and cover my body type thing.
But I feel like bumper stickers are like kind of like marketing because like you don't you put it on your car and you tell people here. But anyone else have any thoughts on this? Technically, we can fund the entire thing, but yeah, Candace, go ahead.
So I'm of the same opinion, sort of. The way I think about it is like, could the student use the thing at an event, right? That like then distinguishes them as a member of the club, so that someone could come up to them and be like, "Hey, I have a question." Like that's how I think of merchandise, right? Like a T-shirt or a lanyard, even a button. Um, versus stickers or flyers. Like that's sort of where in my mind how I distinguish it. If can you use it at an event so that someone knows you're a member of the club?
Here, go ahead.
I think we funded stickers at one point, so we should. Oh well, these are bumper stickers, right? Okay, I think we shouldn't fund the bumper stickers, but the pins, lanyards, and tote bags are fine.
Cool. Tori?
Yeah, I might just be missing some piece of information here, and Candace, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit, but are we not supposed to be funding marketing types of things?
Based on the budgetary statutes, there's the merchandise and marketing fund is actually two funds. There's a merchandise fund and then there's a marketing fund. The marketing portion is only open to student orgs that are under 2 years of age.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any ideas or any thoughts if we should fund bumper stickers or not? So if that's the case, if we decide not to fund bumper stickers, then the total would be, let me just calculate that real quick. 56, 16, it would be 243.74. That doesn't look right. Wait, I think I did that math. Did I? I don't know. Yeah, wait, what? Yeah. So based off what Candace said, are there any motions to strike stickers from being considered in the request?
I move to strike stickers from the event.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've stricken stickers. That's a really funny thing to say. Okay. If there are no other thoughts, if no one's gonna add to the discussion, are there any motions to move into a period of voting?
I move to enter into period of voting on this request.
Okay, second.
Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we move into a period of voting on this request. So it's 2:43:04. Perfect. Everyone who thinks we should fund CSA Sahas request as it stands for $243.04, say aye in the chat. If not, say nay in the chat, and I can tally up the responses. Okay, that's all 8 of us. 8, 0, 1, 0, 12:07. God, 07, 2021, not 2022. Okay, perfect. Oh my God, I'm struggling. 2021. Okay. Moving to our next request, we have okay. I think we need to amend the agenda again. Do we have any representatives for Model UN before we do that? Okay, perfect. Are there any motions to amend the agenda right now?
I move to amend the agenda.
Cool. I'm just gonna move Joy's confirmation a bit down because she said she can make it at 7:30. So let's put it here. Okay, moving to our next request, we have Model UN.
Sorry to bother, sweetie,
Yeah.
but like for a Model UN request, I didn't see it on the website for review.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let me check real quick. 600 should be the number.
I just moved it.
Oop. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. While I pull everything up, Alex, could you go ahead and introduce yourself as well as the event or the off-campus tournament I believe you're going to, or conference. Sorry, that's over.
Hello, can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Hi, I'm Alex Marsh. I'm the student president for the Model United Nations Club. This budget request is for our trip to the National Model UN Conference in New York City this coming April 2022, otherwise known as EDMA New York. This conference is a roughly week-long event where our student delegates go and participate in simulated diplomacy exercises to produce resolutions on current issues and world policy problems. It is accompanied by a class, Poly 384L, so 1 credit upper level political science course we offer in the spring semester, where students are asked to write position papers and conduct other preparatory work for this conference, and they are rewarded with academic credit for that. In addition to the simulated diplomacy exercises at this conference, there are also workshops on parliamentary procedure, writing, public speaking, and a rather extensive opportunity fair attended by representatives of top graduate schools in international relations.
Perfect. Thank you so much. For finance board members, are there any motions on the floor?
To enter into a period of discussion.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. So I know this just got moved to finance board review stage. So if y'all need like a minute or two to just look over it real quick, I can give that just because you weren't able to look at it ahead of time. And this is an off-campus request just to keep in mind in terms of funding. But I'll just give you like a minute. Real quick. Tori, go ahead.
I just want to note that in the request, it doesn't have what they're actually asking for, so I'm going to put that in the chat. But I do want to note that they're asking for a faculty with that, so that's going to have to be amended.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. Is everyone good with it right now? Or do you need like another minute, maybe 30 seconds? Just like say something in the chat or say something out loud so I know. Y'all anything?
All right, putting up a thumbs up. We're good.
Okay. Okay. Just to remind you, Alex, a little bit about our procedure, I guess. If you have anything to add to the discussion, just say me in the chat and I'll be able to call on you. If there are any questions regarding that, then also just like say me in the chat and we can just maintain a little bit of order between finance board as well as our guests. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts? Usman, go ahead.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say was that like I didn't see anything wrong with the application. The hotel is over the 50-mile radius based on the budgetary uh I mean like based on the budgetary status. And so yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it and I think we should fully fund.
Yes, and I just put the per person, or I just put the breakdown of how the total is made, as well as the total cost for the entire request is up here. But this is what we're looking at. I think Imani is next. Go ahead.
Did we need logging information for the hotel and everything?
Do we need what, sorry?
Logging, like the hotel information for the numbers, to see where to get the numbers from.
Let me see. I'm guessing it's just standardized, and that's don't. Oh, it says it right here. Oops, I didn't see that. Can y'all see that? It says there's like a per room rate that is given by, I'm guessing, the conference itself, and that's where the amount was,
Okay.
yeah, calculated from. And I guess to clarify the point that Usman made and why Tori said we cannot fully fund is because we have the one faculty member is also included in the calculations, and we cannot fund not UMBC students. So that is something to keep in mind in terms of us funding it.
So we just recalculate the numbers. Other than that, I don't see anything wrong with the application besides the one faculty member being included in the cost.
Yep. I'm gonna go to Alex real quick before I come to you, Rahman. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Alex.
We would have no problem if you decided not to fund the faculty member. We're happy to strike that from the request.
Okay, perfect. While we're at that point, are there any motions to strike?
I move to, I'm sorry. I move to strike the faculty member from the request budget.
I second.
Okay, my brain is trying to do the math and I don't know what I'm doing.
I already did it. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Wait, how would it change? I'm so confused. Would it just be $460 off of $59.80?
I'll put, so with lodging, you did 460 times 12. For registration, 135 times 12 plus 200. Travel, 60, the 65 times 12.
Okay, perfect, got it. Would you just be able to put the total amount in the chat real quick?
Yep.
Or you were able to.
Oh, I also want to note that the oh my goodness, screenshot, oh, that was difficult, for transportation says that tickets are $63, not 65.4. So just as a note.
Yeah, plus processing, that's the only thing I was looking at. I don't know if that was included in the value. But Candace, go ahead.
Thank you. All right, I have a question for Alex about your lodging costs. So you have $299 per room, and you are requesting. You can scroll back up, Shruti. You were requesting 4 rooms at 5 nights. How many students were staying in each room? Pardon?
May I respond?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Okay. The conference allows a maximum of 4 students per room. We're requesting 4 rooms because we don't know in advance how many male and female delegates are going to attend, and we don't want to put anyone in a mixed sex room if they're not okay with that.
That is more than appropriate. I appreciate that clarifying response. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that, Tori, in the chat. Rahman, I totally skipped you. Go ahead.
You already stole words from my mouth. Thank you, Shruti. You already covered what I wanted to cover, so we're good.
Perfect. Okay, so with that in mind, it would be Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Alex again. So just as a clarification, I did not see that you uploaded a COVID mitigation plan. Just as a clarifying factor, the funds can only be, if the board votes to fund this, the funds can only be distributed if you are approved to travel by the university. So if you have not already filled out that form, it is on the Student Org Officers page, and that is a stipulation of funding. So please make sure that you complete that and get approval from the university in order to be allowed to travel.
Just a quick point in, you should have received an email from me yesterday. So who did it? Let me know. Alex, go ahead.
Sorry, should I have been the person who received the email?
I'm pretty sure it should have been you and your treasurer.
I will check with that. On the point about the COVID mitigation plan, we do have a mitigation plan ready to submit. The reason we have not is because the school requested that when we submit the plan, we list the names of everybody going, and we have no way to know who's going before we can provide a cost. So as soon as we know who our delegation will consist of, we will submit the mitigation plan. We did submit and get one approved for our previous conference in DC, and we intend to submit that same plan edited for New York. We will have that done if it is approved.
You will receive that email tonight. I realized I just did not send it. Interesting. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Any other thoughts, clarifications? So the total should be 6276. Yeah. Any other thoughts from Finance Board?
I move to enter into computer voting.
Second. Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of voting. Okay. I'm gonna pull up the legislation in just like 5 seconds. I'm just gonna check something real quick. Okay. Wait, Tori, I don't think your total number is correct.
Yeah, that math is definitely under what it's supposed to be.
Okay, let me just do it
Well
real
done.
Okay, it's 8124, 80 cents. Yeah, I redid the math and I'm pretty sure that's the correct number. Any clarification on that, Tori?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. So if we think we should, if Finance Board decides to fund Mun's request for 81.24 and 80 cents, say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay in the chat and I can tally up the responses. I love seeing all the typos. I think we're waiting for one more person. Neil Benet. Okay. If she's not. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so we'll just go with 7. So 7 for 0 opposed, 1 abstaining, 1 not present. 11. Nope, it's not 11, 12. 07. 2021. Perfect. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming in and have a great day. Thank you. Okay, let us see. So next we have what time is it? Okay. Students for Life. Are there any representatives from Students for Life on our meeting with us? Rahman, did anyone say they would come?
Actually, no one. I was just checking right now. No one responded, and I'm assuming no one's going to come. But I can reach out if you want me to.
It's fine. I mean, you already emailed them yesterday, so it is fine. By 6:56. Are there any motions on the floor?
I move to enter into a period of discussion on this request.
Second. Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. I believe we just had someone come in. Are there any representatives for Students for Life in our call with us? Oh, perfect. Hi. Sorry if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Hello? Sorry.
No, it's good. You're good.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, could you go ahead and just introduce yourself real quick? So just like name, pronouns, major, and your position in Students for Life, as well as what your request is for.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Naila Sharad, she or hers. I'm the president for Students for Life, and a math major, junior, on the track for secondary education. And then what was the last question?
Just a little bit about your request. So, what the off-campus event is. Is it my Wi-Fi? I feel like my Wi-Fi is dropping every 5 seconds. Okay. Okay. I guess while we're waiting, does anyone have any thoughts about this application? Candace, go ahead.
Sorry, Tori. My question for, well, I have a question for the group as to when they came to know about this. Well, yeah, this is Sahas. Is this Sahas?
No, it's semester.
No, never mind. Oh, this is the wrong one. Never mind. But go by. I have no questions for this.
Tori?
My only question is how many cars are being taken. The only reason being, and Candace, you can just shake your head yes or no. Do we fund parking or no? Okay. So the gas mileage, just so everybody knows, we go off of what the state does. So the mileage per diem, is that a good word for that? Is 56 cents a mile. This is 29 miles away, so round trip would cost $32.48 for one car in gas. They're asking $60 for travel, but their registration fees are fine.
Okay. I believe Naila's connection is back. Hi. Oh, never mind. I believe she left the meeting. Okay, that can be an impending question. Yeah. I feel like our funding is dependent on our answer. Hence, we could wait for like a minute and see if she's able to rejoin, or we could just move it later. If Rahman would be able to like email her and let her know.
Another question I would have is oh, sorry, I didn't say me, but shh, it's fine. One place they say 4 people and another place they say 5 people.
I saw 5 people in the actual, okay, wait, where do they say?
Yeah, they say 5 people there, but under travel costs, it says like event parking, blah, 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 in total, it'd roughly be $45. So if we have 4 people going, it would be a small cushion. I'm just wondering if it's 4 or 5.
Oh, they wrote it out. I was looking for the number 4. Yeah. So I guess until we're able to address these questions, I guess we just might have to table it for like a little bit until she's able to come back. So
I move to table this.
any seconds.
Second, until she comes back.
Okay. Objections? Here, seeing no objections, you've tabled this request. Okay. Our next request is from Comics and Other Media. Are there any representatives with us here?
Hi. Yeah. I'm the treasurer and Thomas is the president. Thomas is also here.
Perfect. Okay. Could you guys go again ahead and introduce yourself? Okay. Could you guys go ahead and introduce yourself real quick? Just like name, pronouns, major, and just a little bit about the event, so we have an idea. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, my name's Bradley Udwin. I go by he, him pronouns. I major in information systems. So our event is just going out to see a movie in March. It's like we're the Comics in Our Media Club, so like we like talking about like new comics, movies, and just like topics related to that. So yeah, we were hoping to like probably like rent out the movie theater for this event and yeah, seeing the new Batman movie in March.
Tori, I believe this needs to be moved to Finance Board review real quick. Sorry, go ahead. If there's anything else you wanted to add.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. Yeah. The only thing that we're actually like requesting funds for is just tickets for the movie itself. Like we would handle that carpool and like transportation and everything. Besides that.
Perfect. Okay. Are there any motions to move into a period of discussion for Finance Board?
I move to enter into a period of discussion.
Second. Objections? Here, seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. Okay, so any thoughts about this request for Finance Board? I know this just got added real quick, so if you want like a minute just to look over it, then let me know.
Wait, the one question that I'm sorry, me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The question that I have was that do we even fund movie tickets? And also like do we even have an estimate of how much the ticket's gonna be? Because the Batman movie, I don't even think they released the tickets for that movie anyway.
Yeah, that
Or
was like an issue. Like I got an email from the board asking for documentation of the event, and yeah, they hadn't released tickets for it. But yeah, just like estimating based on how expensive tickets are these days, I thought it was gonna be like around $250 for like around 20 people to go. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to interject like this during the review session. Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. There wasn't anyone talking, but just generally, yeah, that's what I was thinking, Tori. But generally, if there was conversation going, you just say me in the chat, and then I'd be able to call on you just to make sure there's no like overlap in terms of people speaking. But yeah, Tori, I would tend to agree. So I guess the conversation that we would have is that since we don't have any idea how much it's going to actually cost, and we don't want to put you in a position where you wouldn't be able to go because we underfunded it or overfunded. Like, it would be so much easier for us to provide the funding and for us to have this discussion if we knew the exact price, and we wouldn't know that until closer to the event itself. So this would make sense to do.
Hello?
Hi, okay, real quick, we're on the next request because it took a little bit for you to rejoin, but we'll move your agenda item to the very next one. So once we're done with this one, we can go into yours.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. Wait, Tori, what do you mean?
I mean, I think Usman brought up a really good point is this something you would fund in general? That is a question in of itself. And should this be something that is in Sahas versus semesterly? So
Is there any like, has anything like this ever been funded before in the past? Candace, go ahead.
So yes, there are two questions on the table. I'm going to get to your question in a minute. But I think the first question should be, should this be in Sahas? Right? And if you say yes, then you can defer the second question to later. You don't have to decide that now. Because the people who are reviewing that request may not be the people who are on the board right now, if it is moved to Sahas. But I think that is the question you should answer first. If it does move to Sahas, you don't have to answer the second question yet, whether or not you should fund movie tickets. If you say no, we're going to hear it now, then you can discuss whether or not to fund movie tickets. Have you funded them in the last 3 or 4 years? No. Do I think that that's an issue? No. It's like an event ticket or renting roller skates or entrance into a roller skating arena, which you have already funded. So it's a ticket to a thing. I don't think that is an issue. But again, I think the first question you should answer is, should this be in Sahas? And depending on that is whether or not you have to answer the second question right now.
Okay, so I just typed in the chat, but we can just have a quick straw poll of if we should move it to Sahas. So if we think we should, then say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay. So if you want to stay as a semesterly request, then say nay. If it should move to Sahas, then say aye. Okay, so that's general consent. Yeah, so in terms of our representatives here, we would just encourage you to submit the request. I guess as soon as you guys know ticket price for next semester, and if you're able to submit it in time, then we'd be able to review it and we would be able to potentially give you funding for this event. But that's something that you guys probably would be better off asking for next semester, just so we have an actual ticket price to go off of. But if you have any other questions regarding that, I'm pretty sure your liaison for your club would be able to help, as well as if you have any questions, you can also email me. But yeah. Okay, perfect. Move to table, yeah. Are there any motions on the floor?
Move to table.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we move to table this request indefinitely. Tori, how much money do we have to still cut from other?
none.
Yay!
You are clear $81.25.
Perfect. I love how like the one thing we had to discuss like moved anyway. It's really funny. Okay, so that is for this request. Which one was this? Okay. And coming back to I guess, are there any motions to amend the agenda real quick? Moving Students for Life to after comics and other media.
I move to amend the agenda.
Seconds?
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections? Moved. Okay. Okay, Nayla, we can go ahead and discuss the application again now that you're back. But are there any motions to move into a period of discussion before we do that?
I move to enter a period of discussion.
Second.
What's the FBPR?
Second.
Oh, there's already seconds. Perfect. Right here. Okay, so we were kind of discussing the application a little bit while you were reconnecting a little bit, and we just came up with 2 questions regarding this. So you have, where'd it go? If y'all remember the questions, can you just say it, I guess, while I look for it and fail at finding it?
Sure, they were both mine.
Okay, perfect.
The first one is how many individuals are actually going. At one part, it notes that there are 5, and then there's one section that says potentially 4. And also, how many cars are you taking?
So yeah, it's finalized is 4, and then I think we could do 1, probably at most 2 cars.
So we would need to know if it's 1 or 2, only for funding purposes. So we would be able to use the amount that, or use the criteria that we need to follow.
Oh yeah, okay, then we can do 1. I'll notify the group.
Okay. So in that case, goodness. Ayla, I'm not sure if you saw the chat, but our advisor recommends you guys take 2 for like COVID spacing and just to make sure we're following as
All
many.
right, we can do 2 then.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, and I may I interject? My apologies.
Yes. God.
Yeah, I just say that in case somebody, like, there's a plethora of reasons. Where somebody gets sick, or and then they're like, okay, I'm going to drive myself home, and then everybody else is sort of left, right? Like, or yeah, I feel like you have 4 people. Yes, you can fit 4 people in the car, but just to keep it safe, or if people feel like I want to sit in the back, you're going to chauffeur me because I want some space. Sure, Uber, pretend you're an Uber, whatever. Yeah, I feel like 2 is going to be better. I know it feels weird because there's only 4, but yeah.
All right, yeah, that can work.
Oh my God, Usman, are you okay?
I swear, I have the worst day of my life. Oh, goodness.
Oh no. Okay, Tori, when you say you have to adjust the registration cost, why would that be?
Because it's officially moved from 5 people to 4 people.
Oh, okay, got it.
And the cost that's on the list is for 5 people.
Okay, got it. I'm on the wrong request. That's why everything looks wrong. That is really funny. $656. Tori, go ahead. I'm struggling.
Oh my gosh, I muted and unmuted myself like 12 times. The next conversation you all would have to have is the travel cost. So, the cost for 2 cars, essentially in gas, I guess is technically more than that 60, so it's okay. You
Yeah.
can leave it at that 60, and then the registration fees.
$240.
adjusted.
So yeah, it's 240 and yeah, so it should be 240 plus 60, so that would be $300 in total. I'm correct with that math, correct? Perfect. Okay. Any thoughts from Finance Board before we move into period of voting? Amani, go ahead.
What's the final total?
300.
Okay.
Guys, anything? Maybe a motion to move into a period of voting?
I move to enter into a period of.
Second.
Any objections? Here, seeing no objections, we moved into a period of voting. So the total amount is $300. And if you think that we should fund this request for $300, then say aye in the chat. If not, say nay in the chat. We're still missing. Is Mon still on the call? Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, no problem. 7. Okay, 7, 0, 1, 1, and it is 12:07, 2021. Congratulations. Thank you for coming in, and have a great day. Yeah, go ahead.
So, because this is like my first year as a student officer, so how do I access the funding to get the tickets, and when does that become available?
So since this request is for a semesterly request, which means that it's for next semester, you'll have access to the funding, I believe, on the first day of the semester. Yes, Candace, I will say that in a second, Candace. But how it works is there is this I guess department called SABSC, and they will help you kind of book the tickets, and they'll make sure that they are able to have everything done and paid for. And yeah, SABSC stands for Student Affairs Business Service Center, and David Royer. So basically, you'll receive all this information in like the next few weeks about everything in terms of further steps. But they'll just help you purchase all the tickets and pay for things with the money that we've given. And that ultimately should help you kind of cover all the expenses towards going to this conference. And there's one more thing that you should know. There's a COVID travel related mitigation plan that's kind of put into effect by the VP of Student Affairs for the school. And they want you to submit this form, and you should receive an email from me probably in the next like 24 hours with that. And it's a DocuSign that you just fill out saying like what plans do you have to make sure that no one comes into contact or gets exposed to COVID in the process of traveling off campus.
Okay. Thank
Tori,
you so
Candace,
much.
anything to add to that?
I would just add that the COVID mitigation plan Shruti is talking about is mandatory. So if that is not approved, the funding cannot be allocated. So the funding is, I don't know the word I'm looking for, is
Dependent.
Thank you. Dependent on the mitigation plan.
Perfect. Okay. oops, sorry. If you have any questions about this, you can feel free to email me or anyone else, like your liaison or anyone else you've been receiving emails from. But we'll be able to help you with anything.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Seeing as it is 7:30 and I think Joy is here, are there any motions to amend the agenda for like the 5th time today?
To amend the agenda.
Second.
Perfect. Objections? And we're seeing no objections. We have amended the agenda. Okay. Joy, so for a little bit of context, we're just gonna, you went through this in Senate yesterday, but we're just gonna kind of go through a process of confirming you for the election board position. So before we go through that, could you just go ahead and introduce yourself real quickly? So just like your name, your major, pronouns, and also why you want to be an election board member, and yeah.
Okay, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, hi. My name is Joy. I'm a sophomore and I'm a biology major. And my pronouns are she, her. I would like to join SGA because I think it's a good way for me to get involved. I think that being on student government would be a good way for me to like be more involved with like campus life and interact more with other students. I heard about election board from one of my friends and it sounded really interesting. Based on what I've heard about it, I feel like it'd be something that I would like to be a part of. And I feel like it might help me interact more. And it seems like, you know, a nice position. And I think that I could be of use to the team. So that's why I would like to join.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any motions on the floor for finance board?
I move to enter into a period of discussion.
I second.
Questioning, guys.
Sorry, questioning.
Yeah, you're good.
A second.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna ask you, like, depending on who wants to ask you questions, we're just gonna address questions towards you about any experiences you had, and you can respond right after they ask the question. But for finance board, if you have any questions, just say me in the chat. Usman, go ahead.
Thank you, Shruti. Hi, Joy. The question that I have was like, have you done anything in the past that you think that like you would include into the election board member as a change?
You said, have I like done anything in the past that would help me like as a member of the election board? Is that what you're asking?
Kind of like that, but actually, let me ask you a new question. The question that I was gonna ask was like, I mean, like, is there anything that you would do differently, like serving in the election board member?
Oh, well, honestly, I'm not sure. I don't have much experience. I've never been on like an SGA team or anything like that. I did a few extracurriculars in high school, but not really anything like this. So I feel like the experience is kind of new to me. As for what I would do differently, I don't know. I feel like I'd have to join the team first and kind of see how things are moving along, and then I could kind of, based on what I observed, come up with like new ideas, maybe bring something different to the table. But as of right now, you know, I'm not particularly sure what I could do differently.
Candace, go ahead.
Hi, Joy. Can you remind me what year you are?
I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore. So last year was your first year on campus? On campus?
This is
Or
my
were
first
you?
year.
This is your first year. This is your first year. Did you? Were you a UMBC student last year?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that provides some helpful context because at least for me, in terms of how you answered your last question, because elections were virtual last year because we were all virtual, and then this year they're going to be in person and virtual. And while that, that's maybe familiar for some people, right? That's new for others who only knew or became acquainted with UMBC in a virtual environment. So that helps me sort of understand the context of like how you answered the last question. I guess so. Sort of connected to Usman's question, what do you think would help people become excited to not only run but vote in the elections?
Well, I feel like that probably depends on the event planning. I feel like based on what I've seen so far, certain events draw people in more. So I feel like if we had events that people were excited more, such as, I don't know, like, paint nights, we could incorporate information into these events. But I feel like events that have people interacting in a hands-on way, they're more excited to like come out. And I feel like if we made events like that to help like promote election board, or we could do like, I don't know, little raffles on social media. I know that people like stuff like that too. So I feel like things like that would bring people out more to help with election board and possibly like run and vote.
Perfect. Thanks, Joy. Rahman, do you have a question?
So Candace actually covered what I wanted to say, but instead of a question, I do want to make a quick point of clarification. So like the position itself isn't really one where you need like substantial experience. It's more about your capabilities and what you want to do, which everything she just mentioned. But I do want to emphasize that Joy did have an interview with the election board chair, I believe, and kind of in terms of compatibility and things. So I do want to emphasize that she has been interviewed, and like it's so this is like a next step in terms of yeah. So yeah, just want to mention that quickly.
Thanks for that clarification, Rahman. Anyone else have any other questions? If not, I have a question real quick. Joy, have you had any other leadership experiences or any experiences in the past that you hope to kind of use and implement in your ability to kind of like motivate the crowd and to kind of like mobilize all UMBC students to start voting for this upcoming election? Like, do you have any skills that you want to work on or any that you already have that you want to use?
Sure. So right now, I'd say my most current leadership experience is that I'm a resident assistant currently at UMBC. So I'm an RA in Chesapeake, and I applied for the position to kind of increase my leadership skills because I feel like I don't usually do leadership positions. I usually work more as a team. So I feel like that has definitely helped me open up more. I feel like I'm more capable now of interacting with residents and kind of getting people to come to things because I've encouraged like my residents to go to campus events and stuff. So I feel like being an RA has helped me in terms of encouraging people to do things and kind of bringing like together a community. And in the past, in high school, I remember me and my friends started a club, and I was like vice president. So it kind of gives me an idea of how to like run an organization. And we did stuff like events and making flyers, advertising. So I feel like those two positions would like help me in terms of election board.
Perfect. Fiona, go ahead.
Hey, Joy. So my question was, as a sophomore in an election board mostly filled with upperclassmen, so what advantages do you think you could bring to SGA with a unique perspective?
Okay, so as a sophomore, being with other upperclassmen, first of all, I feel like I could probably learn from upperclassmen, seeing as they would have possibly more experiences about the board or just campus life in general. I feel like being a sophomore, maybe a new perspective that I could bring is that, you know, I have closer communication and contact, I feel like, with fellow other sophomores, like friends and people that I communicate with on the daily. So I feel like just being around more sophomores in general and seeing what they think about stuff like day to day, I could kind of use what I get from other people around me, and I can bring out to election board and be like, well, hey, this is what you guys might think, but based on what I'm seeing, interacting with like other students who are in my grade, I think that they see things like this, and we could like figure out how to, you know, use details like that to do things that will benefit everybody.
Okay, for finance board members, if there are no other questions, then we can move into a period of discussion. If there are any motions on the floor, that is.
I move into a period of voting.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Oh, the discussion. I'm so sorry.
You're fine, you're fine. Any seconds?
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've moved into a period of discussion. Joy, this is where we, as finance board, kind of just talk within ourselves. We just kind of talk about what we think about your candidacy, and we just kind of have a discussion based off of that. But if there are any points that want to be made on the floor, just say me in the chat for finance board. Go ahead, Usman.
I think that like as a sophomore, I believe that Joy has a lot to bring in to the election board. And I believe that she's a great fit and a great candidate to be elected. So I said I vote yes for her.
Perfect. Rahman, go ahead.
Yeah, same thing Usman just said. Like I kind of mentioned before, she has been interviewed by the election board chair, and you know that's the reason why she was chosen to actually be confirmed today. So and based on everything she had just mentioned, she seems really enthusiastic. She knows what she wants to bring, and I truly believe that she'll be a really good fit to the gang. So I vote for.
Perfect. And I also believe everything that's just been said. From everything we've heard and all the questions that's been asked, I feel like Joy brings a great deal of a different perspective as well as experience in the same time. Because I feel like she's just like more in tune with different populations than other members of the election board currently. So I feel like that really brings or gives her an edge in terms of being a great contribution to all the existing members of the election board. Any other thoughts? Yeah, and Devin said, I like that you have experience as an RA because that has an impact on your ability not to holding a position as like SGA. I think you'll be a great fit. Yeah, I'm struggling with that a little bit. If there are no other thoughts to be said, are there any motions to move into a period of voting?
I move to enter into a period of voting.
Seconds?
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we move it into a period of voting. Perfect. Okay, so if we think that we want to confirm Joy as a member of election board, then say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay in the chat, and I can tally up the responses. I think Fiona? Yeah, perfect. And 8. I didn't realize Senate did not hear.
They have one more meeting. They meet next week.
Ah, okay, perfect.
So.
I did not realize that. Okay.
What? That they have one more meeting, or that they hadn't seen this yet?
Yeah, no, that they had one more meeting. I'm like high-key
Yeah.
jealous.
Well, no, well, you both have the same amount of meetings, but they didn't meet on Labor Day. Labor Day is in the fall, right? Labor Day is in September. Yeah, they didn't meet on Labor Day. So, but you met after them.
Right. Okay. Okay, perfect. Congratulations, Joy. At least from the finance board side, you're confirmed. Good luck. Today is our last meeting for the semester, yeah. But at least for the finance board of the side, you're confirmed. Good luck for Senate. Sure they'll love you too. Okay, have a great day or evening.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evening as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. It's 11. It's not 11. Oh my God, I keep on forgetting what day it is. 21. I just had the conversation. Okay. Moving on. We have, where are we? Okay. Are there any representatives from Society of Automotive Engineers with us? Perfect. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself? So, name, pronouns, major. You just said your position in SAE, but a little bit about your request, so we all have a bit of context going into it.
Hello, I'm Peter Stein. So him is pronouns. I'm a computer science major, and I'm like I said, the president of Society of Automotive Engineers. Our basic request is we're looking for funding for our travel to our 2 competitions during the spring semester. There's one in Rochester, New York, and one in Tennessee. These are where we take our vehicle that we build every year. We take it over to basically compete against other teams in general driving events. We also do engineering events such as design competition, sales presentation, things like that. This is basically the big end of the year event for us. It allows us to, put to use the thing we spend all year designing and building. Yeah, that's the basic idea. They're 4-day events, so we gotta take our trailer up there, so it's a lot of driving and stuff like that. Yeah, it's it's a great time. Find your time, you should join the club. But yeah, that's our basic request.
Are you recruiting from finance board? No, it sounds really cool, but thank you for that. Okay, for finance board, are there any motions to move into a period of discussion?
I move to enter a period of discussion.
I second.
Hey, do we have to fight on Tessies? Okay, sorry. This I-
Oh, ew, I don't like Teslas. Sorry.
Okay, it's a conversation.
No, I just said that I want to build a Tesla because I know that that's the only way I'll be able to afford it. But let's keep going.
Okay, we're off track. There are no objections. Okay, no objections to general consent. We've moved into a period of discussion, and now that we're in a period of discussion, let's discuss. Okay, any thoughts from finance board? Also, any thoughts from Tori or okay, yeah, Tori.
I did not mean to all caps. I was just so capsed from we are off track. Devin, I'm not acknowledging your pun. So I do just want to note that this is 2 different events, but in one. So I don't know if it would be best to look per event and then vote as a total, since it's in one request and you can't really section it like that. You know what I mean? But I think it might be best to look at each event separately and then at the end vote together. So you might have to do like some straw polls in between and things like that. But it is for a Tennessee and Rochester. And I do want to note that one of the events, and I think we kind of touched on this previously, but one of the events is technically out of the dates of the semester. So that's something you all have to discuss too if you would like to consider funding for something that's over the summer.
Okay, perfect. So just to make it a bit easier on us, we can start with the first one. Let me pull it up before I get ahead of myself. 658. Yeah, that's a conversation that we had a little bit over for finance for prep meeting. Yeah, technically that'd be out of our fiscal year, so that is something that we need to consider. Okay, so I believe, let me just confirm again. Yeah, so the Tennessee one is the one that is in May. Candace, go ahead.
I just want to sort of make a note about the language, right? So the fiscal year runs until June 30th, 30 days of September. Yeah, June 30th. But you collect fees in the fall semester and then the spring semester. And so typically so you don't collect a student activity fee in the summer. You don't. The people who run the winter session and summer session collect that fee. That fee doesn't come to you. And so at that, I just want to make sure we're being clear about the language and why there's a question on the table for summer events. Again, that is for the board to decide.
Okay, yes. Why can't I? Okay. So there are multiple parts to this request, obviously. So if we start off with the Tennessee request, that's from May 11th through 15th. And the total cost for that, oh my God, I don't even know where to look at this point. Tori, go ahead.
I have a question for the group. Could you kind of just break down the travel costs again? I know that there was an email about that breakdown, but the whole board hasn't seen that. And I know initially in the request it's for a rental van. I'm under the interpretation based on the emails that Shruti, could you scroll up to where the requests numbers are? Yeah, just down a little bit so you can see that 2000 too. Thank you. So from what I'm understanding from the email is that rental materials 2000 is being struck. And could you just kind of explain the rest of the travel cost so we're all in the same page?
Yes, go ahead, Peter.
Okay. Yeah, so the rental van ended up in the rental materials, so we're not gonna worry about that. It's gonna get struck probably. The other parts of this are we've got, I'd say, three major parts that are here: registration, travel, and lodging. So travel, this is primarily we need to rent a 1-ton diesel truck to drive our trailer to the two events. So that's the cost for, I believe, a 1-month rental, since it turns out to be cheaper than renting it twice for each event. Then that's combined with gas, both directions. And of course, lodging is lodging. If you want me to go into that, I can do that. And the registration is a flat fee defined by the competition.
Yeah, the lodging and registration makes sense.
Yeah.
And we can see those listings as well. I think our biggest separation for viewing this as two different events is going to be separating the cost for the rental truck, essentially.
Gotcha. I'm just reading through this email as well to make sure that we're staying consistent. Um, see. Yeah, so they're doing it weekly. Okay. So okay.
Are you all also renting a minivan?
Yeah, so that's the plan is to rent a truck and a minivan to get enough people down there. We may be taking a few personal vehicles to get enough people there, but those aren't listed here because we'll be handling them. So it's listed. The van costs 1,400 to rent for 2 weeks, and truck costs, just saw it, 800 a week. So we need a 1 week rental for each event. 9 people in the car, sounds right. So we're trying to get a fair number of people down there. I think it was 18. So that's going to be pretty tight, COVID wise. In the past, we've run 4 or 5 in the truck, and the van holds about 6 comfortably. That's 10. That would involve 2 more cars to get you up to 18. Or another 6-person van. Yeah, I will point out that on the social distancing thing, for the rest of the event, it's basically outdoors and our lodgings through an Airbnb. So while we will have quite a few students in close proximity for quite a few days, we will be basically our own bubble throughout that. There's not a lot of interacting with other teams in close proximity. The event is entirely outside. So yeah.
Okay, so the two fixed costs that I'm seeing for, at least starting with the Tennessee requests, would be the registration, which is $1,500, and then lodging, which from the Airbnb is $1,739. And then that's the variable costs come in with the travel in terms of like the vehicles and like how that's being split up. There's no like exact amount for just this first one, right? Okay, Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, so the total costs for what they would need in general are more than what they're asking for. So I think if you wanted to, you could just kind of like split the travel in half. It might be what you need to do anyway. And just so there is also an understanding that the lodging will need to be cut also because the total amount of what the 2 Airbnbs are that you sent were for $2,800-ish, and you only requested $1,950 for lodging. So, I mean, technically they did do 2,000 in rentals also, so that could technically be added to the travel and not actually struck, but I think that could just kind of be split in half regardless, because I think that's still going to be under what they actually need for travel.
Great. Okay, so 3,000. So would we just look at the rest of the amount that exists for travel so when I tallied up the registration and the lodging together, I got 58.12, and we just take the rest of the amount and then divide that in two and then say that's for each of them?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I added the travel and the rental together, so that 2,000 plus 3,990 and divided it by 2, and you get 2,995. That covers the rentals for both, and there's some leeway there for gas. But I don't think that would generally be enough for gas anyway, so it's not like you would have to do that math to figure out if that's too much money, because for both of those vehicles there and back, they're going to be spending more on gas than what's left over for that. The only real thing you're going to have to cut from, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Dudley, you'll have to cut from the Airbnbs, because that's over what's actually being asked.
Okay. Okay, so registration is okay. Lodging comes out to oh shoot.
The lodging that they're asking for is about $2,800, but they're like, that's what the Airbnbs add up to if you
Right.
look at the quotes, but they only ask for $1,950.
Okay. Yep, 28.12. And then yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so then so far since we're still only looking at Tennessee as of now, if we use the divided by 2 number for travel, so it's 2,995 plus 1,500, and if we fund the entirety for like argument's sake, so if you fund the entirety of the lodging for Tennessee, it would be that's the total amount. So then if we want to look at, so I guess this is where we get to the conversation of if we can or if we should look at New York's request and if we should fund that. Am I wrong? Okay, cool. Finance board, do we have any thoughts? Imani, go ahead.
I think we should just look at New York's request, and then from there we should make our decisions.
No thoughts, head empty. Tori, go ahead.
So in order to look at New York's request, you have to decide if you would consider it, given the dates of it. So the real question at play right now is, do you want to consider this New York's event because it is technically out of after the semester? It's going to be the exact same thing. They're both essentially the same. They were both requested in one thing, like one FBBR. So it's all in one request. But if you want to be able to fund everything that's being asked for, you'd have to decide if you want to fund the summer competition.
I feel like the easiest way to go about that, since we're not hearing individual opinions at this point, is just to do a straw poll. So if we should consider funding a summer event, if we want to do that, then I would say yes or aye in the chat. And if not, say no. But if we want to have any more conversation about it, now is the time. So Imani, go ahead.
I personally feel like I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but then again, I feel like it does because I feel like all of our stuff is in the general school year. But since it is a competition, they don't really have any control about when the dates are. I personally don't feel any type of way about funding it, even though it's not in the given school year.
Aya, anything to add?
It's that if we're doing like a summer event and we're funding it, does that mean for like the future precedent we'd have to hold is that if somebody wants an event in the summer, they should also apply in the fall for it? Or are we just doing this as a special consideration or something because it's a competition?
So my understanding of that is we as a board don't have to deal with any more semesterly summer requests because we're done. You know what I mean? Like it's just our this year that we as a board are together that's making this decision, and it's a clean slate for the next board. So I mean, yeah. For requests, like if we had any like semester requests next, or like any Sahas requests next year for summer. Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you're setting a precedent, you can make it as specific or not specific as you'd like. I think in this case, it would be, if this is something you choose to do, making sure you're setting that as far as saying that this is for specifically like competitions and off-campus requests that, as Amani pointed out, that they have no control over the dates. If you leave it too vague, it could allow for on-campus events. So just something to keep that in mind as well. You shouldn't technically be seeing anything next semester unless it comes through Sahas because it's something that a group didn't know was like in the pipeline or they didn't know the dates of yet. So I think you could potentially see some stuff next semester depending on other intellectual sport groups that might have competitions if they do span out that far, depending on whatever club it is and what their season looks like. But that is also for you all to kind of discuss.
Okay, yeah, I think I agree with that. Having it for like off-campus, what is it called? Off-campus, like competitions that you can't control.
Like August, like the beginning of August before school starts.
I mean, I could see people because next semester, you will review semesterly requests for the fall, right? And so someone could submit a competition request that is for the beginning of August. That's technically the summer. So again, I think Tori's sort of hit the nail on the head. Is like you have to be very specific about why you are funding this outside of, if you do fund this, why you are funding it outside of the fall or spring semester, right? What about it is there? What is the qualifiers? So that, yeah. So, and I think she named it very well.
Okay, so given that so I guess now since we have some opinions on the floor, would be a good time to do a straw poll. So again, same question that I'm posing, I guess, but if we think that we should fund a summer event, contingent that any summer event that we set precedent for would be an off-campus event that would be a competition that the student org cannot control, then a yes in the chat. If we don't think we should fund summer events, then that's a no in the chat. Yeah, like one more person that's general consent. Okay. Yeah. And I think also Rahman said yeah earlier on, but yeah, if we're okay with funding this, then I guess is where we go into like the actual amount because it's not hard to fund at this point. So it would be 1,500 plus $29.95 for travel, and then we would be able to fund whatever's left in the lodging amount, which is like, so that would just mean we are able to fund the total amount that's being requested, which is exactly yeah, 10,940. Yeah. Any other thoughts from Finance Board? We have arrived at a number. If there's any confusion, clarification, then now it's the time to ask. If there isn't anything, then we could move into a period of voting.
I move to move into a period of voting.
Move to enter a period of voting.
Move to enter
Okay.
a period of voting.
Okay. Any seconds?
I second.
Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of voting. For that is a lot of money, $10,140. So if we think that we should fund this amount as it stands for SAE, then I would say aye in the chat. If you don't want to fund it, then say nay in the chat. That's 8 of us. Okay. 8 for, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining. Oh no, wait, that's me. 1 abstaining, 0 not present. Total of 7, 2021. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming in, and I hope you all have a great time. This seems so cool, and I'm so jealous, question mark. But yeah,
Thank you all. It's going to be a blast. Have a good one.
I can imagine. Bye-bye. I want to build a cartoon. We can start our own club.
No, I would just tell you to join that one.
As a member of SOC.
As a member of SOC, I would not vote to have a second organization of the same thing.
That would be a third because you all wait. This is not,
I mean,
this is, who is this? This is snowmobile, or is this snowmobile, or is this
this is just
SAE?
SAE.
Baja.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. There's a snowmobile one. Wait, I want to build a snowmobile.
I mean, they're in limbo right now.
Oh.
Yeah, they're technically here, but
We can build another transportation, like a ship or a train.
plane. Do a plane.
Yeah.
Actually, please don't. That sounds really
No,
dangerous. Nope.
There's already one that does that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
AIA does that.
Build a submarine.
I think we should. What's like the? We should build electric cars. We should build Teslas, but not
Oh my
Teslas.
gosh.
Get sued. Okay, moving
on.
Okay, we have Society of Women Engineers. My brain is not working. Are there any representatives for Society of Women Engineers with us? Why is the FPL number low? I can't remember. Did we look at this before? I don't know. My brain hurts. 643. I just added another agenda item on a little bit ago. I should have maybe asked, but yeah, y'all have no choice. I don't hate you. Rashad hates me. That's the problem. Okay, have we looked at this? Why is the number so low? Why can't I think? Okay, are there any motions to move into a period of discussion?
Move to enter into a period of discussion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. Imani, go ahead.
From my understanding, we have looked at this. The treasurer for the organization is a classmate of mine, and she actually spoke to me on um the request, and she showed me an email from Candace saying that it was denied because she did not have accurate documentation for the hotel that they wanted to use. Is that correct? No, because she showed me the email. Like I saw it.
Tori, Aya, whoever wants to go.
No, they emailed us. The email doesn't say she was rejected. The email says it's the email that I sent out that says you're missing documentation. And she sent documentation. And then Candace was just telling her, yeah, okay, can you send specific information for the hotel? And she did. And then Candace was like, okay, this works.
Oh, okay.
I
She
think
must have.
just
She
added
must have.
I
Yeah, I
think
just
what
remember.
she's getting is that at the end of my emails, I let them know that if they don't send us the documentation before today's meeting, that they would have we wouldn't have been able to look over their request, is what she probably thought.
Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause I just remember she showed me this leveling with the Candace, and I just thought we did go over it because she showed it for Candace. She did use the word reject, and I was like, oh, I guess we did go over it.
Okay. Whatever the case is, we have not looked at this. Okay, perfect. Now we shall look at it. Okay. Thoughts. Just say me in the chat and call on you. Things need adjusted. Tori, go ahead.
For the sake of not playing a game and helping you all move this along quicker, the registration fees need to come down by $100 because it is listed at 10 people and it's at $850, but the registration is $75. So that would make it $750 versus $850. Also, they say that the rooms are $200 a room, but they're actually $139 a room. So that should probably also come down,
What's the amount again, just real quick?
But they also have 10 people and they want 2 hotel rooms, which I don't think is necessarily a smart move. It should probably be 3 rooms.
Yeah, they at least 3 rooms. I'm always more comfortable with 2 people in a room, but y'all like to sleep in beds together. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, so because of that, I'd say leave it at 400, but their math is technically wrong. We're just being nice and saying you should have 3 rooms, not 2. So $100 should come off of the registration just because that math is incorrect.
Okay, and if that's the case, then the total will be $1150 instead of $1250. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you for doing the work for us. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts, points, anything that anyone wants to add before we move into voting? If not, or if there are any motions on the floor, then that's something we can look into.
I move into a period of voting.
And
Any objections? Here, seeing no objections, we moved into a period of voting. Same deal. If we think we should fund Society of Women Engineers request for $1,500. 1,000, sorry, no, wait, nope, $1,150, then say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay in the chat. No, oh my God, I got 3 hours of sleep last night and I'm dying right now, so. It's kind of my own fault, but. 6. I think we're missing 2 people. Nope. Okay, there, perfect. 8. 0 opposed. Oh my God, I hate when I do that. 1, 0. And yay, congratulations, y'all. I know you're not here, but yay. I should really play a game of how many times can I misspell my own name. It was really entertaining. Okay. Moving on. What's next? Okay, we have Bethel Campus Fellowship. Okay, this is a little bit of a confusing one. Candace, are you saying something? I don't know. Are there any representatives for Bethel Campus Fellowship with us right now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, could you go ahead and introduce your request real quick? So, I mean, actually, wait, first start with yourself and then the request. So just like name, major, pronouns, forgot that, and your position in the club, as well as a little bit about your request.
Yeah. So hello everyone. My name is Chelsea Okay. I'm a senior bio major here at UMBC. My pronouns are she, hers, hers. And I'm the club. I am the evangelism coordinator, secretary, and treasurer. And so we are requesting funds for our fellowship's annual national conference in Ridgecrest, North Carolina. It will be held from February 18th to the 20th in 2022. And it's an opportunity for students to grow in their faith, attend workshops, network, and gain skills to carry throughout their undergraduate career, postgraduate career, and even just life after college. I've met people through this conference. I've later transferred to UMBC, and just from the people I've met, I have a better idea of the places I'd like to go for grad school. That just, I guess, shows how widespread it is and its reach personally. And this conference offers a theme or a time of reflection for oneself, as well as encouraging growth and maturity, which is the theme for this year's conference. And that's just in all areas of life. It's open to everyone who's interested, regardless of their faith. And just if honestly, if they're interested in coming to the conference, they're free to, even if they're not members of our organization. And so students have an access to academic workshops as well. And every year, students share testimonials of how their mental health has become better, I'd say, or their mental well-being overall has increased. And I assume, like you all know, post-quarantine is vital for a successful student, definitely. And just a little quick tangent kind of a thing, I've learned not to underestimate mental health as a result, especially through this conference. And students even have access to one-on-one counseling opportunities, and I've even taken advantage of that before, and can attest to the benefits. And our ministry provides leadership opportunities and volunteer opportunities as well to new and current members, which helps prepare them for other various roles in life.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Are there any motions on the floor for finance board members?
I move to enter into a period of discussion.
Seconded. Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we've entered a period of discussion. A little bit of context, we go to a period of discussion just to discuss what we've reviewed about this request already, and we just kind of have thoughts, and we just like share kind of our opinions about how we're going to fund this. And if you have any questions about it, then we can address it towards you.
That's good.
Perfect. Any thoughts, guys? Two. This is Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question for the group. When did you find out about this conference?
The group as in me and my.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, okay. About it being held, like the time frame, or your phrase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, when was this conference announced?
Okay. So it was first announced. So it takes place annually, but it was let known to us the exact dates a couple months ago. I know typically at the I think every year is a previous conference, they announce that this is the next theme. I don't believe they set the date by that time, but a few months, I believe into the summer, they let us know the dates, if I'm not mistaken. If that answers your question, let me know.
Okay, so you around the summertime it was announced?
I believe so, yes.
I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
So I know this is in a Sahas request. Typically, these types of requests needs to come through a semesterly budget. Is there a reason this was not submitted for the semesterly budgets?
Well, I believe that at least what we had mentioned in our e-board was that because this was kind of an event as opposed to something that we would be doing throughout the semester, we saw it as something that would be filed through or under the Sahas. So that's kind of how we understood it. So in I guess next time, would this be something that we file under the semesterly budgets?
Yeah, so this is technically something that should have come through the semesterly budgets. Because this was, when was this submitted? So semesterly budgets are on campus and off campus.
Okay, I see.
Candace, go ahead.
So my question is, do you know when registration opened for this, or when prices were set for this?
So prices were announced to us in October. There was a Maryland meeting that we had to attend, and there they announced the prices and like the dates at which they changed. So initially, prices up until I believe November 1st, if I'm not mistaken, or no, actually, sorry, we're in December now, until November 30th, were 210. And so since that window has passed, we're now in the 275 cost of registration. And at the end of December, I believe in January, it then becomes $300.
Do you know the exact date for when it was announced?
I believe I can get the date of the meeting. I think it was October 10th. I can try to find that out, but that was the day of our state meeting.
I'm trying to help you out here.
I appreciate it.
So Tori, you got something? What you got?
No, I didn't say that was a me from before.
Okay. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm sort of like digging online, right? So I can see that on October 31st, there was a post on their Facebook page saying, come register. That's sort of the first time that sort of the Bethel Campus Fellowship has pushes out like, hey, come register for this. And then I'm also trying to see, because basically it's like, I found the date. Okay. Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Tori. What'd you find?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, babe.
It said that pre-registration opened October 16th.
Okay.
On a registration.
Something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean.
Okay, so a little bit of context in terms of like why we're like sad, not sad, but like basically the semesterly application deadline, like the semesterly budget, which is a budget that you have to submit an application for if you're going to have an event the next semester. So if you wanted to attend this and technically would have filed it correctly, then it would have been through the semesterly budget, and the deadline for that was October 20th. So the idea is that if you didn't know about the event before October 20th, then you'd be able to file it as a Sahas request and ask for the funding that way because you just did not know about it. But unfortunately, because it was 4 days before, that is just something that like we have to like talk about and consider. But Candace, go ahead.
Excuse me.
That's what I was going to say, is that I think you should talk about it.
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
So since we did file a semesterly budget, none of us knew that it was also for off-campus events, which was why we then followed up with the Sahas request for this event. So I guess in that sense, because we did file semester budget, so we did do that correctly, but we just didn't know that off-campus events as well counted. In that sense, like, is there any room for leeway? Because I believe we honestly would have added it in there, but we correctly, by the way, and before October 20th had submitted our form for our semester request. So, I mean, is that making sense what I'm saying? That we honestly just didn't know. We did our semester request. We could have just put it in there too if we had known, but we thought this was just for events and off-campus things. And as a result, we went through this avenue of submitting in order to request funding.
Candace, question mark? That's more of like a conversation the board can have, but I don't know how much we can stray away from the rules, and that's my concern. Tori, go ahead.
Yeah, as far as the question being posed, they cannot be edited. So this late in the game, you can't change a semesterly budget. I know you said that you submitted a semesterly budget, but I don't see one in the system that's submitted, just to let you know. But so essentially the finance board tends to try to keep the deadlines and pretty set with those. The semesterly budgets isn't much leeway for submitting them after, because there is so much notification that goes out about them. So that unfortunately that's not something that can be edited post, especially 2 months later, when we haven't been letting any other org do that either.
And I guess like a follow-up on something you'd mentioned, is the semesterly budget the one which you'd have to meet with Matt Bowling for?
Only for on-campus events, yes.
Okay, so that's also is probably where our confusion stemmed from, because I believe he might have referred us to someone else for off-campus, and then we filled the Sahas out. But I see Inda has a question, so I'll let him go.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead with your question.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I also do want to add that it's not, well, this is like for us on the e-board, it's our first semester. Well, for most of us, it's our first semester, or it's our first semester serving in person. So as far as like requesting for funding goes, this was a new experience for most of us. And I know that registration, it did somewhat tardy from the time that it was supposed to open. So that's why like it was a little bit we were somewhat unsure of the time, because they did give a date that it was supposed to open, but it did lag before registration opened.
So the only thing is, I guess like Tori said, it's just a little, it just ends up being unfair to like other organizations who wanted to submit afterwards and weren't able to. And as finance, where we just want to try to be as impartial as possible. So I don't know, from now on, I would just, yeah, I would just like urge you guys to kind of stay in communication with your finance board liaison, who I can find out for you if you need, but they're kind of just there to like help you with anything budget related. And also you're more than welcome to email me if you have any other questions or anything on those on that, because we'd be able to help you and make sure that you have a good understanding, because it is a confusing process at the end of the day. And since we've done it a bit, we'd have more knowledge about it. Yeah.
Just to follow up, so I know how you mentioned that this should have been included in the semesterly budget. So does that mean because we use the Sahas application that it's completely null and void, or is there an opportunity to use the Sahas for off-campus events at all? Is it just because this happens in the spring semester? I guess I'm kind of trying to understand the gray area between this.
Yeah, of course. I'll just like provide a bit more clarity to that, hopefully makes it more clear. But Sahas is for the same exact semester, and semesterly is for one semester ahead of time. So if you're submitting a Sahas application for this semester, then you would have the event would happen this semester, and then semesterly would be the next semester. So the idea is that semesterly applications have to be submitted by the budget deadline, which for us was October 20th. And the only reason you could submit an off-campus Sahas request would be that if you didn't know about this event before the semesterly budget deadline. So if you didn't have any idea about this event existing before October 20th, then we would be able to consider a Sahas request that you would submit next semester, if that makes sense, because it has to be the same exact semester. Does that make sense? Does that?
Yeah, it does. So we'd have to know about the event after the deadline, but not, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't count. We didn't know about the deadline in order to apply.
Yeah,
If that makes
unfortunately.
sense. I guess the dates is really just, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, yeah, the 4-day window is kind of what like messed you up a little bit there. But that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of just keeping the playing ground fair for all organizations, because we do have to fund everyone pretty fairly and equally.
Okay. I guess in that sense, is there anything else you recommend, any ways for us to get funding? You already tried fundraising, and we had an event next week in the Breezeway in order to recruit more people who could come to the conference. So in order to accommodate those people, as well as the people who have already shown interest, we have a lot of underclassmen and freshmen and first-time attendees at the conference. So I guess in that sense, I don't know if applying for a Sahas in January for this February, I don't know if that's like, I think there's like a 30-day deadline or restriction. So I don't know if that would work out. But do you, and I guess everyone else here, do you guys have any advice and ways to request for funding other than the fundraising that we already have been trying to do?
I would put that question to Candace or Tori. Yeah, perfect. Tori, could you answer that?
Yeah, you can connect with the Office of Institutional Advancement. They run essentially GoFundMe's, but for UMBC student orgs in other departments specifically. So I would connect with them, as that's the other area on campus that does fundraising for student organizations. There's opportunities off campus. I don't know how frequently or available they are post COVID. So like restaurant fundraisers and things like that as well. But fundraising would be your main opportunity. I did want to note just some clarification on Sahas versus semesterly budgets, just because I felt like I heard some confusion still based on you mentioning Sahas for next semester. Sahas in general is typically only for organizations that are brand new or that have never, I shouldn't say have never, had not heard about their event previously to the previous semester's deadline. So this event would not qualify for a Sahas event next semester either. It would have had to be in the fall semesterly budget request. So my recommendation is just making sure you're really paying attention to the My UMBC page and all the posts that come out. Roundtables, we go over it too. So making sure maybe bringing your treasurer to some of the roundtables too in the future, because I know we went over those pretty in depth as well at those roundtable meetings. But I would suggest connecting with the Office of Institutional Advancement to see if you can work up a GoFundMe. They're not actually called GoFundMes, but just for the sake of comparison. And there might be some opportunities for restaurants and things like that to do those kind of like, if you come between these hours, we'll give a percentage to the organization. I don't know if restaurants are still doing those post-COVID, just because, oh, they are. Candace said yes. So yeah, so that's a good way to get some funding as well. But I would definitely start at those places.
Yeah, and I just looked up for just another method of like clarity. Tori mentioned just like making sure that you're coming to the roundtables as well as like checking the SGA and my UMBC. I would also suggest if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me, as well as your finance board liaison is Usman. He's on the call right now, but I'll just put his email and his name in the chat for you, and he'll be able to help you with making
I
sure.
actually, sorry to interrupt. I actually did had a meeting with the treasurer like prior to the beginning of the semester, and I explained to him how he has to go to treasury training in order to be able to understand the process of how to request funding. And I was able to talk to him about the differences between Sahas and semesterly budget and how it worked. So I believe he should have my contact information.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you have any other clarifications or questions, you're more than welcome to contact anyone on the board and also me. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in, and hopefully we were able to clear up some of the doubt that you guys had about the finance board funding process.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to vote. Can we just permanently table this? Yeah, are there any motions on the floor?
I move to table indefinitely then.
Perfect. Any seconds?
Second.
Hearing or seeing no objections, or I mean, are there any objections? I don't think there are any. Okay, hearing or seeing no objections, we have permanently tabled this request. Okay. Okay, now we're back to Black Men Society, and at this point, since we can fund it, what's the other one that we could fund? I forgot.
Rock climbing.
Oh, right, rock climbing. Okay. Where did it go? Did I delete it? That is so sad. No, it's here. Okay, good. Okay, wait, let's go to Black Men's
I
first.
moved to amend the agenda, by the way.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just do that.
Second.
Okay.
Can I also move into a period of voting for rock climbing? Because we already went over it.
Okay, sure.
I move to enter a period of voting for the rock climbing budget request.
A second.
Wait, let me figure out how much it is first.
$950. They both are,
Oh, okay, perfect. Easy.
which is interesting.
Okay. Yeah. If we think we should fund Rock Climbing Club for the entirety of the amount they requested, I in the chat. If not, nay in the chat. Easy stuff. That's a lot of eyes. That looks like 8. Yep. Okay. 8, 4, 0 opposed. Oh my God, 0 opposed. 1 abstaining, 0 not present. And I don't know if they're here, but congratulations. Also, their trip looks so cool. Like, maybe I should join. Okay. Then I think we have Blackman Society next. Wait, what am I doing? Yeah. And same idea. You can't attend. It's in like Tennessee. Okay. Same idea. I think it's also 9:50. So are there any motions on the floor?
I move to enter a period of voting for this one too.
Perfect.
Second.
Objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we moved into a period of voting. Yeah, same thing. Aye in the chat if we want to fund it for the total amount. Nay in the chat if we don't. I also believe we have 2 representatives here, so y'all get to see our sped up version of this. I don't know if I counted wrong, but we're still missing people. I think Amani. One, 2, 3, 6, 7. Yeah, Imani. Yeah, perfect. Okay. 8, 0, 1, 0. 12 plus 7, 21. It's embarrassing the number of times I misspell my own name. Okay, perfect. Congratulations, your event got funded. Thank you for coming in, even though it's really short. But yeah, thank you. And have a
Thanks
great
so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay. Our last agenda item, I just added that in. I apologize to you guys, but I forgot that this is our last meeting, so we have to do this anyway. So, we normally, I'm guessing, from what I remember, I think we normally have reflections at the end of the semester when we have like one more day, but that obviously isn't happening because of how final schedule is working. And because of that, our reflection will be through the process of S is it? Yeah, Strategic Plan Review Committee. Big brain. Okay. So the idea is that the strategic plan was that big document that we passed in the beginning of the year. And they kind of just make sure that we're staying on track and doing all the things that we said we would do in the beginning of the year. So there's a reflection and there's kind of a recommendation sheet that shows okay, wait. Yeah, there's a recommendation sheet that shows you have to look for this now. Everything that we haven't done so far and stuff that we could implement in terms of doing, as well as like making sure we stay on top of so we can be more adjacent to what we plan to accomplish at the beginning of the year. Where is it? There, okay. So I guess if y'all want to like read it, I don't know. We could like popcorn if we really wanted to. But yeah, that's kind of like the all bodies part. And then specifically for finance board, I feel like it's kind of interesting to look at it and kind of have ideas. It's linked on the agenda. I would urge all of y'all to kind of go through it and read everything so we kind of know what we want to do. But I want to kind of do just like a really quick like reflection, like not a pass the gavel kind of thing, but like a pass the gavel for like the entire semester. So if there's anything that y'all want to add that we could probably improve on next semester in terms of budgets, because we're officially done with them, or if there's anything else, then I guess just say me in the chat. Yeah, I know the link went away. I can put it in the chat real quick. Yeah, this is the last meeting for the semester. I'm scared, Tori. But anyone have anything to add? This could be anything about like the process that we just went through, or like anything. So I don't know if it's a stipulation, like precedents are set that are like not like they're not like written down, they're all verbal. And it's just something that we kind of hold to make sure that we have. Oh, we do? Wait, that's so interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Candace, could you elaborate, please?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if you've set any other precedents, have you?
We did the thing with like roller skating where like we funded a thing that cannot like a fundraising thing, but we only funded the common vision for it, but not like anything up for the actual event.
So was that to say that you're not funding fundraisers with except for advertising for it? Is that the precedent?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so because you just would have to send something out to say the finance board has set the following precedents for future requests. One, for fundraisers, we're not funding fundraisers except for advertising. And then two, we will fund, are you just funding competitions or are you doing conferences too? For summer, up until when? June 30th?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
competitions, but yeah.
So you have to decide that too. I don't think you've actually flushed out that precedent all the way.
How would this happen?
You don't actually have to decide that now. I mean, but you can. You have to vote on the precedent as a group. So you've set a precedent that you will fund. Right now, the precedent is that you will fund events in the summer. But if you want to refine that down more, you have to vote as a group on how you want to refine that down.
Well, is it like a now thing?
Probably should be.
Okay. Okay. So like just like a straw poll, I'm guessing?
No, it has to be a vote.
So like voting procedure?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to like, someone has to like name what the precedent is, right? So, and you should probably have a precedence sheet. It's okay. We haven't really set precedents in a while, so it's new for everybody, and old. So you have you did vote on funding, not funding fundraisers with the exception of advertising. So that would need to go on this mysterious precedent document. It just can be a document. It says 2021, 2022 finance board precedent. It's very basic. And then you have to, right now your precedent is that you will fund events in the summer, but you should refine that down more. Mm-hmm. So you do like fundraisers, and then summer events. Or yeah, that's fine. So, and the precedent you set was that fundraisers will not be funded. Funding for I don't know what fundraisers will not be funded with the exception of advertising.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
To adhere to budgetary guidelines.
I don't know if it's in the budgetary guidelines.
It's somewhere that we can't fund it. I don't know
Did
where
you
it
find
is.
it, Tori? No, it's not only for new
No.
clubs.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not only for, yeah, no, it's not there. And it's not only for new clubs, Mahira. That's I think you are merging like the marketing fund and advertising of this. Yeah.
Requests for summer events as long as they are competitions. Oh my God,
That occur. When is the cutoff? You have to decide that.
that occur before the end of this fiscal year, aka June. Wait, is it June 30th? No, July 30th.
30th.
June
June
30th.
30th.
2022 or yeah.
No, you should put the year.
Okay, 2022. Okay, there.
And you should decide if you want to add conferences to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll just vote on what we have so far. Oh, wait. Are there any amendments to what I've written so far? If you want to amend it to say competitions and conferences, or just competitions, or anything to the fundraisers part, and then we can separately vote on both of them. Or vote at the same time, I guess. I don't know if it matters. Oh my God, what am I doing? Guys, I require the response. If you don't have anything, are there any motions to move into a period of voting?
I move to enter a period of voting.
Thank you.
And
Any objections? Hearing or seeing no objections, we moved into a period of voting on the precedents we've set this semester. If you're okay with everything that is written on this paper so far, just say aye in the chat. If not, then say nay and we can vote. Of the event? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, that's all of us. We did it. Yay. Oh my God, this is like the official end to like budget season. This is so crazy.
Don't worry, you'll do it again. You'll do it again. Do it again next spring.
I just want to say we didn't have a single meeting that went till 10 o'clock, so.
This is getting there. Tired.
Oh my goodness.
I swear.
Don't
if
make me filibuster during pass the gavel.
Not filibuster. It's not
Just
Senate. You can't do that.
watch me. My pass the gavel is reading everyone a short novel.
I will respectfully leave.
The manual for my refrigerator.
Or Dr. Seuss, according to I forgot who it was who did it actually on the Senate floor in like actual government. Okay.
Very statutes. That would be relevant.
That would be relevant. That would be very relevant. But don't give anyone ideas. Okay, back to the agenda. Are there any motions to move into a period of announcements? I will actually put this in.
I motion to move into a period of announcements.
Move to enter, but okay.
I never
Any
did that
objections?
right.
Here, seeing no objections, means that oh my God, we've entered a period of announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Wait, did anyone say no? So no. I said no.
Go to the stress-free zone event.
All right, yeah, go to stress-free zone. Undo all the stress that finance boards apparently cost all of y'all. Oh, free AirPods, except for the fact that we can't get them because we're elected officers.
Yeah, you can't get this.
So, I mean, go to support the babies who did it. Not babies, FYAs. But they're amazing. And they did a lot, I have been told. Yeah. Yeah, go there. Also, we technically won't be meeting again, and I won't see y'all for like a bit, so enjoy your lives without seeing me. It's hard, I know.
Shruti, I hope the next time I see you, you went to sleep.
That won't be until Tuesday at 11:15 a.m., but it's fine. I mean Thursday at 11:15. That's how it's going. Thursday at 11:15 a.m., but it's fine. Yeah, Mihira feels me. It's it's out here. Okay, yeah, okay, okay. This is me as being like a little bit of a spiel. Oh my God. Okay, we won't see each other, but like y'all should like keep me updated on your lives. I like knowing about people's lives. So like text me. Like y'all have my number, I'm pretty sure. If you don't, then like let me know. But text me. Have a great time. Have a great winter break. Enjoy your time. Oh my God, please get some rest. Oh my God, please sleep on my behalf. That would be amazing. Oh my God, all of y'all want to leave so badly. You won't let me speak. This is actually rude. Okay, well, bye y'all. I hate you, I guess. But are there any motions to adjourn this meeting?
I motion to adjourn the meeting. I'm so sorry, Shruti.
Second.
The disrespect in this chat. You land to sell back home. Yeah, we've passed the gavel. No one's leaving. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Okay, we've adjourned this meeting. I recognize that people are here. My brain is dying slowly. Amina, Aya. Oh my God, Amina, I haven't heard from you in a bit. Aya, Devin, Fiona, Imani, Mahira, Naila Benet, Usman, Rahman are all present, as well as our ex officio members, Tori and Candace, who was able to make it. Can we talk about that? That's amazing. Hi, Amina. How are you doing?
Can we talk about how I thought the meeting was in person, and I went to school.
Candace, I didn't even tell them that. Like I was trying to save you some embarrassment.
I drove to school and I'm texting her. I'm like, I'm coming up, and she goes, it's virtual. And I was like, I call her. I'm like, are we recording still?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the recording. Yeah, we need to stop the recording.
Wait. I think we can do this. Wait, I need to stop sharing. Let's do that first.
I just want to say I was not going to